Good evening, family. You're watching Shirley's World. It is our job as leaders in this community to prepare you, to keep you conscious, and to equip you with the knowledge to take you not only to another level, but to interact in a manner that promotes time invested into yourself to be able to execute whatever adventure, whatever challenge, whatever thing that may occur in your life that you may be frustrated with and think that you by yourself, to let you know not only are you not alone, but there are patterns that are out there. There's a consistent challenge of those who are out there who want you in that hamster cage and want you confused. You are watching Shirley's World. We're going to talk about what happened to Vicki Dillard today. We're going to talk about the eye of Sauron. We're going to talk about Black men and Black women. This is a Black conversation. I want you to be awoken to the things I'm about to tell you, because I am not going to do rants about what's going on society and TV to some extent. But I believe the problem I'm seeing with our own people, because when you have people who speak truth to power, when the truth to power regarding the Black community and the eye of Sauron is watching. Now, what is the eye of Sauron, Shirley? What's the eye of Sauron? If you don't know, and I'm probably not saying it correctly, but just bear with me, go with the flow. If you watch The Lord of the Ring, there was this evil force. I want to show you this evil force. This force is watching you right now. And many of you guys are sleeping at the wheel. You're not paying attention. You think everybody likes you, everybody's your friend. But there are forces right now who are on the table shutting us down as a voice of people. And because we're getting shut down as a voice of people, we continue to think they're going to have us discouraged. This is the eye that's watching you right now. It's watching me. It's watching your children. It's watching your community. It's watching the words that come out of your mouth. Vicki Dillard, they're watching you. And she knows it. Yvette Cornell, they're watching you. Tariq, they're watching you. T. West, they're watching you. Dinus, they're watching you. Afro Synergy News, they're watching you. Art, Arbnobia, they're watching you. BGS, they're watching you. Shirley Hussar, they're watching you. They're watching you because they don't like what you're saying, which is truth to power. And I want you to be equipped, my people. I don't want you to be asleep at the wheel. You can be conformed and saturated with the ideologies of the Democrat shield and the Black media on TV to tell you what to think and focus on. And we spend all our energy in this hamster wheel of what they're saying. But I want you to equip yourself to understand what they're doing to us. We're on YouTube. We're on social media. Our numbers are being hacked. Our voice is being filtrated. There are other people who take ideologies from us that we've been doing this for a long time, and then they twist it and manipulate it and massage it to make it some other creature that it should not be. When we need to learn our history, need to know that we are empowering beings in this country, that we not only built this country, but we are still a contribution to the community. But let's go back to the eye of Sauron. See this thing looking at you with this eye? This almighty, powerful being that you see, if you remember the Lord of the Rings, that stood afar and looked down upon you. When you go to bed at night, when you wake up, I want you to think about this. When you go to work, forget about driving while Black. Forget about that your boss may not like you or dislike you. Just think about the people around you. Do they support where you stand? Do they believe in what you have to say? Because you're going to be targeted like this beautiful sister right here. See this sister right here? She's a target. She knows it. She owns it. She owns it. She's a queen. Because when you start going after people like Weinstein and Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King, all those people who have a stronghold face for Black America, not saying those people truly represent us. That's the twister. Because the eye of Sauron, going back to this, this is the homework on it. If you don't know what it is, you can look it up, and I'm gonna put all these links on the bottom. I'm not gonna go all into the mythic and the whole ideology of that one, but I want you to understand that this is always watching you. It's always watching you, and it's using the face of these other people that Vicki talked about. So Vicki was in the middle of her live stream. Strong, 3,500 strong sister, getting some good nuggets out on the table, honey. Them biscuit nuggets were throwing left and right. She had ping, 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 ping. Honey, she had butter biscuits and sugar biscuits. You know, sugar biscuits, when they start talking about the A, B, C, D, F, G black people. And them A, B, C, D, F, G black people got on the stream, honey, and started twisting and hipping their heads to the side. And she was throwing out some of them sugar biscuits and said, we don't want your sugar biscuits. We want some real biscuits, but not the biscuit with this kind of butter. This is the wrong kind of biscuits. Needless to say, in the middle of that stream, she cut her off. But I want you to understand, this sister has some points that she needs to make known to you.
Snoop shouldn't have called her the B word. Snoop done came out and apologized for using that word. You all know that I don't believe in a black man disrespecting a black woman. That's ridiculous. But you all also know if you didn't know, that I agree and believe in the sentiment that my brother Willie D said last night. You know what Willie D said last night? He said an enemy is an enemy, and I don't care how you deal with an enemy. Did y'all hear what I said? We know we're not talking about any physical threats against this woman. There are no, if there's credible threats against Gail, like Dr. Boyd said yesterday, we need some screenshots. And like other black media has said, where is law enforcement? If there was real credible threats, first of all, we denounce violence. Let's be clear.
Let me stop it right there. If you have not a chance to go watch this video, because she really throws some good points on the table. And the bottom line at this part of her junction of her video, she's trying to make clear that you got to understand, black people fighting against black people, and then they twist the narrative and say, Gail is saying, oh, well, you know, I'm being attacked. I'm a woman. I'm a victim. You know, that whole thing in the liberal progressive movement mindset is they're a victim. I'm a victim. They did this to me. I come from my country. You're a victim. I'm a victim. Well, you know, are you a victim really, Gail? Because you cause all this on yourself. She brings that to the attention. She later on in the video, let me just kind of fast forward a little bit.
Kings in social media said,
listen,
Snoop got millions of dollars. He's wealthy, he has fame, but he still bowed the knee because of whiteness. Y'all know I talk about all the time, y'all's desire, your sick love for your open enemy. Pleasing massa. We need some black men that know how to stand up. We need some black men that knows how not to break and bend when it comes to your enemy, fool. When it comes to your enemy. You're not willing to pay a price.
You see what this sister's saying? This is a sister making truth to power. Now, I'm talking tonight about the exposure and how our voices are being shut down. That's the purpose of my video. But I want you to see, here's an empowering sister who I truly appreciate. I love Vicki. I know she probably won't stand on the same platform with me regarding the president and the political beliefs that I have, especially being a Republican. But I do understand where she's coming from and where her vision is and what she wants for the embetterment of black community. Because the eye of Sauron doesn't want a black woman and a black man working together. And they don't want her to have no voice, because if she talks about a good black man that stands behind his word, which Snoop did not, Snoop punked out, and now he said he apologized. When nigga does, you know, should you apologize or should you backtrack, backpedal? What the hell's wrong with you? Come on now, make your mind up, boy. Make your mind up. And so, that's right. You've been pressured by the white shield or the Democrat shield. And that's where Vicki goes a little bit more into. But then she gets deeper and she's talking about Michelle Obama. And baby, when she did that, this is what happened. See that one? Watch this.
Somebody talk black to me. Thumbs up, family. Hit that notification bell. Text the word Queens to 31996. Check out our store at shopfnq.com. That's shopfnq.com. Watch this. Let me give you this one more tidbit, because some of you who are my day ones, you guys know I've been on this a long time, but I'm afraid that some of you may not be familiar with this. Thumbs up, family. We got 3,500 plus people in the building today. I would like for more of you to give us a thumbs up on the count of 3. Thumbs up, would you? 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up, people. Share this video.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you so much, beloved. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Shout out to you, Ridge, for your gift. May your gift be returned back to you 1,000-fold.
Let me fast forward. I want to get to the point of what you see. I know it's that
responsible for monitoring the vital signs of President Lyndon Johnson during one of Johnson's 2 surgeries while president. This is who this woman disparaged and made a record of.
She's talking about Reverend Wright. She's talking about Reverend Wright. How in her book, she goes after him. Michelle.
Personal post-operation letter from Johnson.
That she got cut off. You see that? Y'all see how the girl got cut off? Look at that. Boom! Cut her off. Did you see that? I'm playing it one more time.
Jeremiah Wright, ex-U.S. Marine who volunteered for the armed services, served as a trained cardiopulmonary technician for 6 years. On Reverend Wright's office walls, y'all, hangs a framed photograph of him monitoring the vital signs of President Lyndon Johnson. I'm going to say that again for those of you all who don't know who you dealing with here. She disparaged this man who was responsible for monitoring the vital signs of President Lyndon Johnson during one of Johnson's 2 surgeries while president. This is who this woman disparaged and made a record of.
Talking about Michelle Obama.
Hanging beside it is a personal post-operation letter from Johnson.
There we go. Look, they cut her off. Now, I'm going to let you know. She was talking probably a good 5 minutes. She ain't coming back home, by the way. They cut her off. She had to end up her live stream. She had to end her live stream. And I thought, what did she say that they would cut her live stream off? Look, you didn't hear nothing. I ain't turned no volume down. You can go right over to her chat. Right there. See that one at the top? Then go all the way to the end like me, right here. And they just cut her off. She's going off, and people are in the chat room. Vicki, your sound's gone. Let me tell you why her sound is gone. Her sound is gone because she spoke about the Eye of Sauron. She started to speak about how we as a community don't need to be informed of the real truth. And the reason why you don't need to be informed about the real truth, because it'll wake you up. It'll make you conscious. You will not move with the troops. You will not be the sleeping lamb to the slaughter. Many of you guys do not sit down with your children and have these conversations. You go home, you go to work, and you do your daily tasks, and you breathe and you live, and that's it. Those days no longer exist. The African-American descendants of slaves, the ADOS, the foundational people, you are on the verge of extinction. And until you recognize that your extinction and your existence can jeopardize your future, then you just as lost as the rest of them. Because their purpose is to keep your mind away from the truth. Their purpose is to keep you not communicating. You have to communicate. And that means, by any means necessary. And the platforms that we're using today on the new Black media, of the people I mentioned earlier and other ones that we cross each other's platforms, we may agree or disagree. But one thing we have to understand is that the time that is put in on social media by all of us who are doing what we're doing, where I called you, we're on the watchtowers up here trying to wake you people up down on the bottom floor. You need to take the time to share these videos and to study the information and to make your own notes and make this your own word. Make these words that we share your own truths. Share your life with people. Do not let people make you feel less than, unworthy than, uneducated than, that you don't know your own history. You don't know about 1877. You don't know about 1865. You don't know about 1863. You need to understand the emancipation. You need to understand the Civil War. You need to understand when the Union pulled the troops out the South. Because even though we could go before that, what is relevant is law. When we talk about legislation to a better nation of people, you can't do that without legislations. You can't do that without saying we need lobbyists. We need hedge funds. We as African-American people today don't even know what that is. But we are good at tearing each other down. We are good to see another generation come up and start dishing older Black people and telling them older Black people, man, you old. Bro, let me tell you the answer. No, I just don't understand why everybody got to throw these damn stones at each other, because the stone slinging is not the way to go. It's the conscious ones, the ones who say, Shirley, you're right. You're right. Put the thumbs up, people. I see many of you guys are out there. Let's get those numbers up. It'll help me a lot if you share this on different platforms. For those, shout out who are watching me on Facebook. I know that I have a lot of Facebook watchers who may not be Black and say, Shirley, you have gone into this Black world. The Black world is my world. If you look at me, I am a descendant of slaves, and we are the most oppressed and targeted people. And if I can't be passionate for my own people, then who can? And I have been so passionate for the president and so passionate for the California Republican Party. I've been so passionate for the conservative movement. But who's going to be passionate for my people who are sleeping on the streets right now throughout the country of America? My people who are being targeted by privatized prisons and the police officers. My people who are discriminated and not in part of the labor force. My people who can't even get jobs because of EB-5 visas. These foreign visa countries who have these people come here and circumvent us. This is all part of the eye of the Sauron. The eye is directing the ways that we should move and we should operate it, and our minds are gone. And I want to wake you up. I want to cut you off. I want to take you out of that trance. That is why Vicki got cut off, because she is taking you out of your trance mode. That's what she's trying to do. That's what many of us are trying to do. But all we do is I see two of us, we're mocking each other, or we're going down these rabbit holes. Gail is a rabbit hole. Snoop is a rabbit hole. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. But we have to come back to realize that living is still in pain and impoverished. The living today needs to be responsible for its heirs and its descendants of slaves and its lineage, its wealth lineage format. But we can't get there because we're not communicating ourselves to become there. It is a process. It is a verb. It is an action. It is not sitting and watching and doing this like popcorn and a glass of wine time every time you come home from work. You got your favorite YouTubers. It is you getting off your assets and you realizing that there is a problem and that this eye of Sauron is watching you. This is what's watching you, my people. This is what's on you every day. When you wake up and you say, good morning, Alexa. When you say to your phone, okay, Siri. When you say Google and it responds, that Sauron is always on you. When you say, oh, no, I'm not that tech conscious. Well, maybe you're not. But guess what? There's all kind of cameras when you drive up and down the streets. When you go to your job, they're watching you in the elevators with those cameras. They're looking at your moves, they're watching your actions, and they don't want you to move to the next level. But you have to shake yourself from this eye that has you trenched into what it wants you to think and what you need to do to survive your people. And the conversations we have to have are brutal. They're not kind, but they cut to the chase. I want you to see another video.
Principal up there since elementary school. She didn't like how the school board was handling the fucking Black children. So they try to push her out there. Her husband and us got her on the goddamn school.
Warning, there's some strong lyrics in this video. On this video. After you see the screen come down, then come back on, turn it up. But if you got kids in the room, it's gonna get deep. These are Black men. These are Black men, and I'll tell you where you can find this video at later on. Let's keep watching.
School board. Now she's fucking on top of the school board in Prince William County. All right?
Okay,
don't tell me about
with her being there, does that benefit the Black boys? Have the test scores going up for the Black boys? Is the rate of the Black boys going up? Or is it that she's making sure that the other girls?
Dude, hold on, man. Hold on. Time out. You can't do this. You can't tell me what to do. Hold on, come on, I'm talking. You can't tell me what to do. You can't ask me a question. I give you an answer, and you tell me, well, that's the situation that worked once. Then you're gonna tell me Jay Sean was one situation. You're gonna tell me Miss Lily was another situation. Yes. I give you another situation, DC. You say, that's the albatross. Dude, we're not doing it on a collective level. That's the bottom line.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're not. All you want to do is push defeatism.
Defeatism, it is what it is.
It's going to happen. We're just going to mix. It's going to mix. It's making us mix. And putting us together.
You're going to mix.
You have no agency, man. You don't want it.
You're going to mix. Where you send your kid to school? To all Black school?
Yeah.
Nope.
No, she goes to that school.
Not in Germany.
No, she don't go to that school. No, she goes to American mixed school. Like she has all her life.
Exactly.
Like she has all her life. Just like I did too, though. Exactly. I did too, though.
Exactly.
What happened to me? What happened to me and my brothers? What happened to my brother who was married with his wife and 5 kids? What happened to us? We went to mixed schools. We still rocking with black women. Got black women.
And what happens when your kids?
You know why? It's just because the majority of us have black children and black women. Stop acting like this shit is the majority, man. It's not. It's not. And if other people could practice homogeneous speaking too, if we wanted to. If we wanted to. If we wanted to. We don't want to.
Look at the reality on the goddamn ground.
The reality is what we make it, man.
No, it's not. It's not. Reality is reality.
Dude.
You don't have control over it. You do not have
I used to watch Star Trek as a kid. They used to play with these goddamn little communication devices, and now we got cell phones. We got flip phones now. See, reality is what you make it, fam. Realize what you make it. We can actually do this if we wanted to. But the fact that we arguing right now is a proof that we can't because you don't want to. You don't want to.
Hold on. Time out. Can I get a timeout right quick? I would like to thank Art for having me on here, but I gotta go to class.
Okay, now I'm gonna stop it right there. So this brother right here is speaking his own truth to power. But I want you to pay attention to the brother on the left, on the bottom, BGS. Because I conform with BGS. This is Art's channel, and it's called Lunchtime Random Talk. These are black men talking about things going on in the black community. Later on, I do come on, and I'm going to show you what I end up saying and see what you think about this. Here we go. I'm right here. See, now I'm in the video. Listen. Because you blame that on black people, that we're being invaded by immigrants, illegal immigrants.
No, I didn't blame black people for that. What are you talking about, sister?
Okay, so I'm asking you. You saying that we don't work together? You saying that
we don't?
Trying to tell you the women need to work together. We have to stop talking about black men and black women. We got to talk about black family. Because there is no black man or black.
That's what I'm talking about, sister. Why are you arguing with me? That's what I'm talking about. They talking about SYSPN.
I'm not arguing.
I don't think so. What do you beef with me for? That's what I want. I want black grandchildren.
Brother, I ain't even mentioned no beef. I'm asking you a question.
Why are you even asking me that question? That's not a question for me.
Okay, so here's the answer for you. We're down to 6%. We're down to 6% blacks in California. Okay.
Okay, that's
California. We are on the front line. If any state that's being oppressed and attacked is by the socialist and progressive movements, is California.
Yeah, y'all done in Cali.
So no, California is the front line.
Yeah, y'all done. Y'all done in Cali. Y'all been gentrified. Y'all can't afford to be there.
Okay,
you know so y'all gotta go.
I'm a hopeless romantic. I say we're not done because if we can at least give a leash line out to everybody else to prepare them and warn them, we can help it be not so bad of a blow in Texas and Arizona and Mississippi.
And New York and Chicago.
Yeah, see, here's the thing. New York is almost done. New York is almost done, but New York has a small chance because the population is still there.
Sir, I just asked you for a minute of your time. That's it, and I'll shut up. I've been born and raised all my life in California. I have two black parents that have passed away that own their own business for over 40 years. They had a daycare center called Tiny Town College on 39th in Vermont. I am very active in the black community. This weekend we got 4 events, and I've been asking for black people to come on board. I posted one in the chat room where it's going to be in Leimert Park, and that's going to be on the 15th. We're already in the Pan-African Film Festival this weekend from the 11th to the 20th in the Crenshaw mall, where used to be Crenshaw Mall area. If you guys can come out, we're just letting people go around, talk around, and ask people, where is the ADOS movement? Where is the talk about the sinners of slave movement to make sure that we don't become annihilated? And then there's another event at Crenshaw Christian Center on the 16th, which is Sunday, where we're talking about the education of our children. So when I hear you talk about, y'all ain't doing nothing, we got events left and right.
I didn't say y'all wasn't doing nothing. I said y'all done. What I mean by that is this, sister. Y'all been gentrified to hell. The population, the black population in California is so small, and the way there are, and the homeless rate amongst us in that area is just it's done. Y'all can't recover from that. Y'all can't. You know what I mean? They're gonna do these other Hispanics. Let me finish.
I'm not looking for recovery.
Let me finish. The Hispanics and the Asians have overtook you, and the laws and what the white people have done, it's a wrap. They don't have the population to recover. Y'all need to move.
Where?
All right. My family moved. I was about to say that. My family, my mother and them, when they retired, and then other family members followed them on my stepfather's side. They bought 3 houses down in Arizona. They got 3 houses on the same block.
That's white people's town.
Okay, let me stop right there. He said black people need to move. Let me ask you this, and I've always said we need to move as well. But people have to keep in mind, and nobody can get an edge word in on this, brother. But I want to do a segue real quick, and I'm gonna put this video, keep it rolling. I want you to understand something. There are people in California who cannot move. They've been on their jobs for 30 years, 20 years, 15 years, and they're about to be on the edge of their retirement, right? And if they move, they work for the government, they work for a company, aerospace, whatever they do. If they move, they lose their pension. If they move, they lose their retirement. If they move, they lose their position. So it's easy to say, man, everybody, all you people, you just need to move. You just need to move. Well, it's not easy to move. And then while you can't move, you've got to stumble every day through stores in California where these people speak in Spanish. No one speaks English. They're cooking your food and it's horrible. One of the questions that me and my son always have is, where's the good American food? Anybody got good American restaurants? You can't find them. There's all this fusion cooking going on. But when I hear people like this brother right here, who's jabbed along the longest with the suit tie on and the suit, and respect the brother, I appreciate him. I know he's got good heart when he means well, but we all don't always see things the same way. And BGS in the middle, on the bottom, I support the little Afro brother character on the bottom. I want to say this to people: you have to understand that there are people who cannot control their circumstances. And so they have to endure and stay on the front line. And for those of us who have not walked away, and that, yes, you can be bi-coastal or you can be international and travel back and forth, don't give up on California. Because if you give up on California, then the rest of the country will fall as well. If you give up on California, then other countries, if you say, well, I'm going to move to Arizona, like he said, it's better, go to Arizona. Well, Arizona is the next California. If you go Washington State and Nevada, those are the next California. And Texas has to hold their front line. So we have to ideally understand the eye of Sauron wants your mind and your thinking to be this inclusive, brown, worldwide thinking notion, and forgetting that the fact that your people are the hurt and most distraught people in this country, and nobody gives a damn. And the only damn that will take place is you who are watching my video right now. You having conversations at other Black people at work and school and church. Y'all got to stop doing all this, running on these rabbit trails of social media of athletes, entertainers, and commentator issues that they have on what they say, and get back to the point of we need someone to care for our people first. BF1. If we can get back to that, stay with that, focus on that, in conjunction with legislation and law and administration, we will do well. But instead, we're too busy arguing with each other instead of us trying to find a solution. But understand, Black people are emotional people anyway. We always got a lot of personality. So bear with me in this conversation. And I'm not going to have a lot of cursing. I'm trying not to curse in this video, but they do a lot of cursing for those who just came in. And thank you for chiming in, putting the like buttons up and sharing this on your platforms. But these are Black men in this room, and they talk about Black issues. And they're very passionate about it. And the brother just mentioned earlier, well, you need to move. And the other brother's getting ready to tell him, you going to Arizona. You think it's going to be better there? You going to think it's going to be all Black Arizona? Wake up to the fact that Arizona is on the border of Mexico. California is on the border of Mexico. Texas is on the border of Mexico. And those people look at you as a piece of trash. They say you're lazy, you're no good, you Black people don't want to work, you don't want to work. Well, that's bullshit. That's some BS. And the reason why it's BS because they have circumvented you, and government has positioned them to be able to lobby, to be able to have better labor laws, and to be able to disenfranchise your culture of people from thinking of you as self as a unit and as a voting bloc for the next president, senator, congressperson, but instead they have us segregated and separated and talk about the Black man and the Black woman. But where do we go as Black people? That own their own business for over 40 years. They had a daycare center called Tiny Town College on 39th in Vermont. I am very active in the Black community. This weekend we've got 4 events, and I've been asking for Black people to come on board. I posted one in the chat room where it's going to be in Leimert Park, and that's going to be on the 15th. We're already in the Pan-African Film Festival this weekend from the 11th to the 20th in the Crenshaw Mall, where it used to be Crenshaw Mall area. If you guys can come out, we're just letting people say, go around, talk around, and ask people, where is the ADOS movement? Where is the talk about the sinners of slave movement to make sure that we don't become annihilated? And then there's another event at Crenshaw Christian Center on the 16th, which is Sunday, where we're talking about the education of our children. So when I hear you talk about, y'all ain't doing nothing, we got events left and right.
I didn't say y'all wasn't doing nothing. I said y'all done. What I mean by that is this, sister. Y'all been gentrified to hell. The population, the Black population in California is so small, and the way they are, and the homeless rate amongst us in that area is just it's done. Y'all can't recover from that. Y'all You know what I mean? They're going to these Hispanics. Let me finish.
I'm not looking for
Let me finish. The Hispanics and the Asians have overtook you, and the laws and what the white people have done, it's a wrap. They don't have the population to recover. They need to move.
Where?
All right. My family moved. I was about to say that. My family, my mother and them, when they retired, and then other family members followed them on my stepfather's side. They bought 3 houses down in Arizona. They got 3 houses on the same block.
That's white people's town.
I understand that.
That's Hispanic town. That's right on the border, man.
First of all, you know what you're talking about. That area they live in is not white. It's actually mostly black and Hispanic where they live at. All right. That's my point.
California all over. It's even worse than California, man.
Okay, I appreciate the fact that everything is going on in Arizona, sir. I have properties in Texas. My family's in Louisiana and Texas, and I still work and operate out of California.
Okay.
Unlike you, I'm not going to walk away from the table when I know these black old people on the street ain't got nobody fighting for them.
I'm not fighting that. I'm not fighting that fight. See, here's the thing. We having a general discussion.
Fighting that fight, but
I'm saying we having a general discussion, and then you make it personal. I'm not talking about you.
Sir, you seem not letting nobody else talk. Let me make this very, very clear to you. You don't live in this state. This state is the most oppressed and attacked black state. So if anybody who's in this video chat room lives in California, we are more oppressed and more challenged and more knowledgeable than you, because you are not here on a daily basis seeing the scales that are.
I didn't challenge nothing that's going on there. Why are you bringing this shit to me? I didn't say nothing about Cali. I just said y'all done here.
Very humble to understand what everybody's trying to inform you where the movement is going, and the fact that there's this major movement where we can control, which is immigration and illegal immigration. If you have all the
I get it. Sister, I have no problem with you. Do what you got to do for your people out there. I will support you. If you need me to donate money, I will send money to you. I'm not having that discussion with you right now. That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about population-wise. If you want to stay there to help people, if you can, to help the old people and help other people, fine. I will support your mission. But that's not my argument right here. I'm not having an argument with you. You jumped on the panel and gave another argument we weren't even talking about. All right? I just told you that California is done. Our population is done there. Now, if you want to sit there and pay all those rates, our people can't afford to live there. Californians can't afford to live there. It's like a lot of black people can't afford to live in New York. You're going to have to move like we've done in the past.
Now, obviously, he don't watch my show. Obviously, he must be sleeping at some damn well. He's preaching to the choir, because we all know that already. We already know that we down to 6%. We already know that we in California are doomed because we are on the verge of extinction. I say that all the time. But then to just say that you need to run off and just go buy something somewhere else and say, well, they done, and abandon your people, that's not the right way to go. To make that kind of notion and saying, instead of saying we need some kind of strategy, we need to have a solution, we need to have a form of execution. But as you see, this brother is not going to let you talk, and they're not going to go into that. Let me keep going.
You a failed nigga, man. You failed.
Why do we continue to? Why do?
I know you did.
I ain't doing nothing. We got events left and right.
I didn't say y'all wasn't doing nothing. I said y'all done. What I mean by that is this, sister. Y'all been gentrified to hell. The population, the black population in California is so small. And sister, I have no problem with you.
Hold on. I'm trying to get to that point.
Gentrified as we speak, sir. There was one of the first targets in 1993.
So then be just, what is the answer? Then just give up?
I didn't say give up. My thing, you can fight.
Y'all can't buy nowhere. Y'all can't live nowhere.
You can buy any place you want to, sir.
Okay,
you can be 20 points behind and keep fighting. It's okay. I'm not saying
the poor groups coming in the country can do it, but we can't, huh?
The poor groups coming into the country, you're doing what we can. They're allowed to do it, sir. They work by the rules. They don't work against the rules.
Oh, so now we go back to what we were talking about earlier, the fear.
Fear what?
The fear of what?
The fear. Y'all don't want to fight back.
What?
Oh no, boy.
Y'all don't want to fight back at all. Y'all don't want to fight back at all.
That's what it goes back to. That's what it goes back to.
That's what he's saying.
Now he's gonna tell us that we don't want to fight back. What solution do you have other than telling people to run out of their own home state and that's fighting back, bro? What solution do you have? Because this is the problem I'm having. If you're going to sit back and continue to attack us and we try to inform you about strategies and movements and events that we're putting together that are happening this weekend in Los Angeles. By the way, stay tuned, you guys, please. I see many of you guys are coming in. Please put the like buttons up, and I am going to allow people to come in, and I will put I'm going to put in the stream. So if you want to chime in and call in, I'm going to put that up real soon so you guys can call on in and tell me what you think about this video. And I want to stay on point because I know I did that last video. I let that brother ramble too long about the Indians. And if I see you rambling, I'm going to thank you for coming in and cut you off. Because I really got to make my points known that the eye of Sauron is watching us. That's why Vicki was cut off. That's why these brothers are all cutting each other off, because everybody's got their own mindset. But we as a people have to have these kind of hard conversations. Now, if you're not black and you're watching this video and you see, oh my God, Shirley, those people are extra emotional. Oh my God, they said the N-word. Oh, da, da, da. Don't come to me with that. These are black grown men talking, allowing me as a woman to be on their platform. So it gets a little heated, do a little cursing, but I want you to understand that they're waking up to the gentrification and they're understanding that we are verging to extinction. And we have to have these discussions.
That's what it goes back to.
You can't do it, black man.
That's what you go back to.
You just said it, BTS. I didn't say that. You just did.
No, that's what we go back to, the fear.
I said, no, I didn't. No. That's what we talking about.
That's what you just said.
Before you came on here. Before you came on here, we was talking about the fear. This is a fear thing. This is a fear thing. This is a fear thing. You pushing fear.
Why
you telling these brothers? You telling like
why I'm pushing fear? Why I'm pushing fear?
Why am I pushing fear?
Why I'm pushing fear? How? How? Telling them facts is pushing fear? Really? Is that what it is? So I tell somebody. I tell people what's in. So in other words, you're in the military, right? So somebody gives you a battle plan and tells you that you're outnumbered 3-1. That's pushing fear. But you still got to go in there.
Okay.
Pushing fear, or they're giving you intel.
No, that's not what you're talking about.
I'm giving you intel, sir.
I asked you a question and you came back
I
to me.
asked you how am I pushing fear, sir? I asked you how am I pushing fear, sir? I asked you how am I pushing fear, sir?
I just told you pushing fear.
I asked you how am I pushing fear?
Over again, BTS is not gonna make anything.
I asked you how I'm pushing fear, sir.
All right, so he's gonna do the black girl thing.
No.
You ain't answer
the question.
Ask the question.
Can I ask a question to the entire panel?
Ask the question over and over again while you talking. They won't let you
answer it.
Then shut the fuck up and let me answer.
Well, you shut the fuck up and answer the goddamn question.
Answer the question. You don't make a goddamn sense. You
answer the goddamn question, Negro.
You want to give up. You want to sell goddamn fear points. Fuck you, man. You ain't shit, BGS.
You ain't either.
You a failed nigga, man. You failed.
Why do we continue to resort to shaming tactics? And this goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? So this goes back to the fear that I was talking about. When confronted with what clearly is a complex topic for many people to speak on many levels, the fear always surfaces and it results in shaming tactics. What I was going to ask to the
fear always surfaces and leans towards shaming tactics. I want to stop there before this video goes on. I know it's real intense and I know it's a lot of cursing, so bear with me and I apologize. I truly apologize. But there's some ways that you just can't talk to other black folks, and they are folks, period. I won't use the word black. I'm going to say period in general, period, because there's some people, they don't understand English, but they know how to curse each other out. Look, listen. When people you're having a conversation with and you think it's an intellectual conversation, sometimes, listen to me, listen, pay attention. Take these words to your ear. There are people who listen to you and find you to be a little too deep for them. Think about that. There are people you talk to that find what you're saying to them a little too deep, not plain enough, not simple, not agreeable, not palatable. I'll stop right there. I'll wait. Their palate cannot handle the intense information that you've learned from people like Vicki Dillard, who got cut off. These brothers here who cut each other off. This other brother who won't let nobody else talk and told BGS off and told me off. He gonna inform us like that. We don't even already know. Excuse me, I'm fighting the cold. And BGS and Arden and me and many others who are out there watching me right now. We from LA. And this brother's in Germany. He gonna give us a dissertation about what's going on in America. And he ain't even here. The brother with the red tie ain't even here. I live there. I know my people. I'm watching what's online. You a watcher, bruh. You ain't in the streets, bruh. We trying to help you understand. We are trying to put strategy and tactics together. But let's go back to what I told you. When people find you to be smarter or deeper in your conversation, fluid and current with times and trends, and they cannot keep up, they result in personal attacks. They cut you off, they curse you out like that brother. He had to get into the ramble. Look at him, motherfucker, right? And he's like, whoa, hold up right now, my brother. Where we going with this? I thought we were having a civil conversation. Can't do that. Can't do that. And the reason why you can't do that, because they get so emotionally engaged and wanting you to hear them. They want to shock you into cursing you out and having you drive away from the subject matter when you're trying to give them another narrative and a deeper platform. I'll wait. Many of you guys don't even understand truth to power. There's a lot of things that you're saying in your life to people and they don't believe it's you, and then you back up. Or you twist up the real truth like Snoop Dogg told Gal, look, you shouldn't have said what you said, bitch. Okay, we all know Snoop is Snoop. Oh, now she's threatened. I'm offended. I'm offended. She fell into the Me Too group. Feel sorry for me. Girls crying. Oprah's girls crying. And the black media say, oh my goodness. And then Snoop back up his words. Well, Snoop, are you a beta or are you an alpha? That's all I want to know. You're beta or alpha? These are all alphas right now talking on this channel. And what I want you to be conscious of is that your truth to power could be disrupted by emotions. Your truth to power can be disrupted by false narratives or media spins. Write that down. Media spins. And then you have the butter biscuit people that Vicki Dillard talks about. Shout out to Queen Vicki, who was shut off today. Shut my queen off. Shut off the queens. They don't want us to have our voices. And we have to have our voices to wake up our people. We have to have our kings to have our kings. Many of us black women who support black men, who want strong alpha black men, because Hollywood like the beta boys, the ABCD black men, the butter biscuits with sugar in them. Because that's the way of the future. When you see these teen shows pop up, the little black boy, he's gay. Oh, we're going to cast the black boy, make him gay. Yeah. We don't want to see strong, intuitive, intellectual black men who might want a black woman. It is always conquered and divided. It is always separating our truths. Well, I want to inform you today, the eye of Sauron is watching you. And they're going to want you to continue to be divided. And I want to encourage you, do not divide yourself. Calm yourself. Get grasp of your emotions. Doggone it. And do not be distracted by all these mirrors and smokes going on within media that you have no control over. I can't control Snoop Dogg. I can't bring back the Dan, and I can't deal with Kobe Bryant or this Gayle situation. But what you can realize is that your children walk down every day down the street to school or at the market or somewhere, especially in Los Angeles. And these people say the most rude and vile things to them. Give them the strangest looks, make them feel uncomfortable, give them the air and the energy of unworthiness. And what do you do when they get home? You screaming at the fact that they're late. You need to sit down and start building your own kings and queens and put intuitive minds together. You have to work as a unit, my people. Our time is marginalized. We are being invaded upon by foreign countries that the federal government have allotted here through these visas and these grants. And now you have black men arguing online.
Entire panel, because Jay Sean, you mentioned the point of the brightest, right? I want to know where are we? What are we doing to get all of our brightest in the same room and build a constructive model that can actually help us in the right direction? And I was going to ask you, Jay Sean, are you currently locating the brightest? Are you finding the brightest black brothers and building with them?
Yeah, and it's a model I picked up actually from white society. And I talked about this the other day when I was a child. What white society would do is they would go around poor communities, white and black, and pick out gifted kids and put them into these programs, right? So when I was in the first grade, I got identified as gifted. So they had me from second grade to the fifth grade in the gifted classes. Then I got to junior high school and they had me in the same program. All right, and the reason they do that is because they're smart, because they know if we can find bright minds, it doesn't matter where it comes from, they still control, the purse strings, right? You're coming from a poor situation, so I can throw $100,000 a year at you, but you're still going to develop some shit for me, whether it's some new science, something out of science or something in the technology that's going to make me billions. All right, this is how the game is played. I personally have gotten maybe 13 people personally hired. You know what I mean? Working with the resume, getting them, in government, making sure they get the certifications, get them a training track, all that kind of shit. I've also helped 3 brothers in court, stood up in court with brothers. One of them I didn't even know. I met him commuting to work one day, and we just got to talking. And the person that was in the back seat, because we do that HOV thing where you pick up slugs and you drive them to DC. And we exchanged information, and I had that brother in my kitchen a week later. All right. And we came and I went to court to his status hearings, 10-minute status hearing, to help him out, to make sure that he was doing things the right way so he can get a better situation for himself as a father. All right. So when I work with people and when I had the Big Brothers program, we will always identify the kids that were really the brightest and try to put them on the right track.
If you are not the brightest, if you're not on the right track, how do we get on that right track? You can't. And let me tell you why you can't. You can't because you don't realize that the eye of Sauron is watching you. You can't because you're too busy thinking of the old tactics, ways. We talk about the boys and schools clubs. And yes, those things that he said has valid. And yes, they're executable. But I want to bring you into 2020. I want to bring you into a man. He's not in America, by the way, nor is he in California. And the California that was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that ain't the California today. The California blacks in California are trying to wake up you Negroes, you white people, you Americans of the invasion of government's failure of protection of its own. The foundational people who built this infrastructure called America of local, state, and federal have allowed their own people to be put astray. And why is that? A large portion of that comes back to you. Oh, no, not the government. It comes back to you because you voted these crooked ass Democrats in office, these crooked ass Republicans, crooked ass politicians. If you're not going to put the right person to fight in your best behalf and you don't take your time to slow your roll, get in control of your emotions, educate yourself to be intuitive of your community and the needs and the miscalculations and the manipulation of the money and the regulated rules that are working against you, why do you even complain? Why do you even have a voice? Why do you even have a conversation about politics when you don't even participate in the system? Don't approach me and tell me you ain't registered to vote. Don't approach me and tell me, oh, I love Auntie Maxine Waters. When Auntie Maxine Waters ain't no such thing. She ain't your auntie. This woman ain't nobody's aunt but her own nieces and nephew. And they don't even watch my show. So let me ask you this, my people. If you are not conscious of your failure, who is? And who will take advantage of you? Because if someone is not planning your life, and if it's not you, then somebody else is. I'll wait. That time frame of understanding who you are, what you are, where you going in life, you ain't got nothing going on. All you doing is paying bills and trying to stay afloat and taking care of your kids. So you don't understand. You don't understand. Here's my life. Here's my issue. Life is about affirmations, decision makings, persevering. Days you will break down and you will cry. Days you will break down and you will fail. But as the song says, you fall down. What else, people? But we get up. You ain't gonna get up. Not in this political movement, because it don't work like that. It works understanding legislation. It works understanding the laws and the rules and the guidelines that are out there. And the HB visas, these visa programs where these people are empowered through money. They're giving these immigrants money. And we hear that all the time, but no one can really explain it other than Mr. Ray. I want you to listen to this channel. Listen to this.
Yo, I, received a bunch of butthurt comments, and a lot of people just kind of misconstruing everything that I laid out, that I felt was pretty methodically laid out. And so I wanted to come and double down on some of the things that a lot of people misunderstood. And I also wanted to kind of let Black folks know that, you know, all your skin folk ain't your kinfolk.
Oh, let's stop there right there. Let's stop there right there. Hold up. All your skin folks are not your kin folks. I got to go back to ABC because some of y'all need some ABCing, and you need to learn this. You need to put it in your vernacular. You need to have it in your conversation. You need to take notes and make it part of your repertoire, your affirmations, so that when you talk to people, these become your own words. I want you to speak words of truth to people that you learn from empowering people, or you don't get cut off. Get ready to be cut off. Because those who are cut off, those who the eye of Sauron is watching, you're in a powerful being, because we're talking about Black family first. You saw that Black family? Black family first. Someone in the chat room, please type in hashtag BF1. Please type in right now, BF1, BF1, and put the thumbs up. Please put thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Let's keep going.
And this is very critical for Black folks to understand as we transition to this 21st century and beyond. You see, Black Americans, specifically native-born Black Americans, I mean, we have to understand how to truly articulate our own long-term interests for economic and political power in this country, which will allow us to operate primarily from a position of strength. You know, in addition, Black Americans must form political alliances that advance those interests, okay? So that's essentially what all politics and power are all about anyways. You know, another thing I want to address is this whole people of color identity politics deal. I mean, this simply just does not serve the best interests of Black native-born Americans, okay? Get this, the whole notion, people of color, I mean, get that out of your brain. This whole illusion of inclusion, all of these kumbaya concepts, destroy those out of your brain now, like seriously, because nobody is playing that game but you, seriously. And I'm going to show you exactly where I'm coming from with this in a few.
Let me stop right there. Do you understand what the brother's saying? We all need to work together. We're all in this fight together. No, you're not. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different pictures with 5 different issues. And they want to say we're all together. We're not all together. We're not all on the same platform with the same ideology. But again, truth to power. Understand why they're cutting you off, because they're saying, wake up. We're saying, wake up, and you're going back to sleep. Wake up. You're going back to sleep. I want you to wake up. Listen to what this man is saying.
So what is identity politics? At its most basic level, identity politics merely means political activity that caters to the interests of a particular social group. You know, in a certain sense, all politics are identity politics, but successful identity politics requires shared interests, not shared personal identities, and not just skin color. You have to get this. Now, while it is vital for Black Americans to learn the politics and history of other marginalized groups and how those particular experiences differ from our own, it is paramount that Black Americans always stand up for what is in our own best interest, okay? I mean, Black folks simply just got to understand that self-preservation is like the first law of nature, period.
Well, what are you saying? Somebody read this to themselves. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. Self-preservation. If you think about the beam law, the human beam law, the humans, man, woman, the walking humans that we are, our first law of nature is to be first in every aspect. We control the animals, we control the flowers, we control the seas, humans. Now you're talking about Black preservation. Black Americans, descendant of slave, Negro preservation. How do we preserve ourselves? We have to identify first who we are. And then we have to identify, second of all, what? Self-laws of nature. We have to say, hey, I have to survive first. I love to help you, but what did they say on the plane? Put the oxygen mask on yourself first.
You see, the whole problem with this whole skin color identity politics is the fact that Blacks from other places, like whether it be from Africa, the Caribbeans, or even some of these Indians, South Asians, East Asians, these people don't share the same interests of Black Americans who are descendants of slaves and whose forebears were victims of historical Jim Crow political and economic disenfranchisement in the United States of America. So you have to understand that all of this kumbaya diversity.
See, these people don't even know this history. I want you to take in that these black men who we don't even know their names, we see their faces, but we don't. You see these black people down here smiling, this man over here on the left-hand side of the screen, smiling, these women. Honey, this was like a pot roast. This is like a potluck. This is a roasted nigga night. Let's go roast us some niggas. This is what America used to do. They just do it in another form, but this is what America used to do. And now you have immigrants and illegal immigrants and migrants who want to say we're all the same. Well, these people weren't tortured. They didn't have a black Holocaust. And I'm not talking about the Jews because the Holocaust didn't take place here. It took place in Germany. So the Jews can't say, well, we had a Holocaust. Yeah, you had it in Germany, but not America. But the black Holocaust, the American Holocaust were the black Negro Americans. And we were festivals. Honey, these people are having a festival down here at the bottom, down here, up in here. While these black men are being hung dead. Bodies are limped. Souls are gone. Mothers are mourning. Cousins and uncles and nieces and nephews are off in the woods watching them black people. And the blacks later on have to cut their own family members down.
In education and employment by recruiting blacks, whether it be from Africa, the Caribbeans, or it be people of color from India, from South Asia, East Asia. It simply does not redress. That is, it does not remedy or set right the educational and financial deficiencies of Native Black Americans who are the descendants of those blacks historically harmed by the racial discrimination and disenfranchisement in the previous generations. I mean, we fought to make this country livable for the quote unquote people of color. I mean, furthermore, it just completely abuses and misappropriates the affirmative action policies won during the civil rights movement designed specifically to uplift native-born Black American progeny, okay? I mean, you have to understand that just the Jim Crow era alone set Black folks back trillions upon trillions of dollars in wealth transfers from generation to generation. Listen, I can simply name well over $1 trillion in losses when adjusted for today's inflation, and only a few out of thousands of different well-documented instances from that time period. I mean, look at Forsyth County, Georgia in 1912, where close to 1,100 Black homes and businesses were simply either stolen or burned to the ground by whites who just wanted to just simply take.
Let's stop right there. Let me go back that up a little bit. Sorry.
Today's inflation, you're talking about well over $300 billion in lost wealth.
Do you hear that? His calculation here is $300 billion. This is the big white elephant. This is the elephant I'm telling you about. And the only way that we can approach this event, yes, we can calculate it and put it all in one agenda and approach the federal government. But I personally feel that it won't get shut down. You have to take it one bite at a time. But before you deal with the elephant and take the one bite at a time and go to Mr. President or go to Congress and say, look what you did to us. Many of you guys don't know what was done. I'll wait. Many of you do not know what was done. Why do we gotta keep going back to history, man? I don't want to talk about history. I don't want to talk about Black people's past. Let's talk about what's going on now, how they treating us and these white men. Blah, blah, blah. No. You have to be equipped. You have to be equipped. You have to understand. Wipe left, swipe on right. For those who get the Karate Kid joke. You've got to know how to be prepared. These videos that I do, when the siren's on you and getting ready to cut you off, because you know a lot. But if there's more of us like this, who get our voice out there, they can't silence you this easy.
African Americans from generation to generation. I mean, what about the over 400,000 acres simply taken from the freed slaves by the Confederate whites in 1865 by decree of President Andrew Johnson after General Sherman issued the Special Field Order number 15? I mean, just look up the Special Field Order number 15 by General Sherman. I mean, these Black men fought and died to procure this land. Not to mention the other estimated $350 billion in assets lost by African Americans, again, when adjusted for inflation in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921. I mean, this type of stuff happened to hundreds of counties during the Jim Crow all throughout the South, okay? Mind you, at this same time, whites were given like 270 million, not 1,000, but 270 million free acres of land by the federal government. I mean, they only had to pay about an $18 filing fee with the Homestead Act. That's it. I mean, they were given financial, farming, and all various forms of training on how to take care of this land properly.
Are you guys paying attention to all this? Am I just watching chat room people not share this video, not taking notes, not awake to the fact of real issues that are going on? While we so focused on the ira of Sauron and black media have us focusing on what's going on with Gail and Snoop Dogg, do you realize you got money sitting in the federal government right now because what was done to you? When we got people telling you facts and documents and notions of what happened to Negroes, do you realize how empowering you are, but you're less empowered because you've made yourself part of the we people, inclusion people? You've not segregated and separated your mindset from the rest of these fools that are out here? Listen to what this man's saying. Pay attention. Get your notes out.
Now, this was all sanctioned by the federal government, all while African Americans had their property that they bought with their hard-earned money, many times with no credit, stolen from them, okay? Now, when adjusted for inflation, African Americans had trillions of dollars in assets simply stolen from them by white Americans, okay? You got to understand, post-Reconstruction, African Americans owned about 14% of all rural land, well into the Jim Crow era, okay? Now, today, we only own like 1%, and whites own like 98% of all rural land in this country. And to top that, we fought and died for the protection of the United States in every single war since its inception. Every one. I mean, today, African-American men participate in the military at close to 43% higher rates per capita than white men do. Seriously. I mean, we participate at 43% higher rates than white men do in this country today. I mean, you know, you could talk about patriotism all you want, but in the face of deeds, true patriotism rests with the person who actually does the work. You know, and this is just a small...
Hold on. Oh, anybody awake out here? Anybody? I said, and I didn't say anyone awake and watching my channel. I said, look, I did this thing. I said, anybody awake out here? I'm laughing at myself. I got to play this one line one more time. Listen to what the man is saying.
I mean, you know, you could talk about patriotism all you want, but in the face of deeds, true patriotism rests with the person who actually does the work.
True patriotism acts by those who does the work. Are you doing the work, my brothers and sisters? Shout out to that beautiful video. That is on my YouTube channel. I will put all the links of everything I'm talking about tonight. And that video goes into tense. I'm going to bring different parts of it back in another time. But I'm going to look to some of you guys right now in the chat room. You're talking, you're making comments. And I appreciate that. I really appreciate all the good things that you're doing. But I want to have a question to you. Are you conscious of the fact that the eye Sauron is watching you? It does not want you to grow. It does not want you to communicate with one another. And it doesn't want you to have conversation. We have to have conversations. And the only way we're going to have conversations is that we realize that BF1 starts with us. And that we realize that there's an eye of Sauron. And it wants you to fail. This wants you to fail. This does not want you to exceed. This does not want you to propel in your life. It doesn't. Because the more you speak of knowledge to each other, the more you grow, and the more of you they cannot cut off. If you silent Vicki, then there's a Shirley. If you can't silent Shirley, there's a Phil. If you can't silent Phil, there's a T West. There's a BS1. Come on, there's many of us out. There's Art. There's many of us that are out here. Mr. Information. There's Doug. There's many of us out here. We're speaking truth to power. And we have these things set up and information set up there. Segue real quick just to let you know, there's a town hall meeting. Write this down. Get your notes pads out. There's a town hall meeting addressing the economic and racial issues in the Black of Los Angeles. I just want to do a quick commercial for those who are in LA and want to get away from the computer and want to have a one-to-one conversation. I will be at this event.
The Fight to Save Black Law Town Hall will take place on Saturday, February 15th, 2020, from 11:00 am, 4 p.m. at the Limerick Village Studio located at 3411 West 43rd Place, LA, California 90008. This nonpartisan event is designed to engage both sides of the aisle on the issues specifically affecting Black Los Angeles. We have invited all candidates who are running for seats in the upcoming March 3rd, 2020 election representing areas where Black Angelenos are heavily concentrated. These candidates will explain how their policy proposals address our issues specifically, and what solutions we can look forward to from each of them should they be elected. LA District Attorney candidate Rachel Rossi, County Supervisor 2nd District candidates Holly Mitchell and Jen Perry, 10th District candidates Aura Vasquez, Grace Yu and Jenning Martinez, and congressional candidates Errol Weber and Joe Collins will be in attendance. In addition, we will hear from judges, assembly candidates, and others that are vying for seats in this year's election.
This country is ran by local, state, and federal, right? But if we don't understand that we have to get control of the local and the federal issue, local and state issues to deal with the federal, then we're not going to propel. People that say that California is a loss. I say pull the rug away from those who are in power. And if you cannot approach these people who have been empowered by you through a vote and ask them, what is the agenda for the Black community? And if they don't have one, then you need to have one. You need to talk to them about your needs, your wants, and your desires in your community, and why are they not cleaning up the streets, picking up these people who are sleeping underneath the freeways, talking to these people who have whole Black families who have no place to go, how the Latinos are given more rights and privileges, how we use the word minority, and for some reason that no longer includes the Black community. This is what we're talking about. The Black empowering within our community and within our holds and means. We have to talk about the economy, and we have to talk about the labor rights that have been pulled away from Black Americans and given to immigrants and illegal immigrants. So those who want to attend, that's going to be February the 15th. Let me give you another event. There's another event that's going to be Sunday, February the 16th. Write this down. Now, if you're not in California, I know you guys say, I'm not in California, but you got friends. Listen, stay with me. Don't fade off. I'm going to go back to talk about the subject matter, but I want to segue because this is part of it. You need to be doing exactly what we're seeing with other groups and organizations. There are ADOS and foundational people that form that. There's ADOS and foundational people that prepared for this. This will be at Crenshaw Christian Center in Los Angeles, California, off of Vermont. This is going to be California School Choice Town Hall meeting where we're going to talk about the school choices and legislation that affects funding for Black children because they have a Black private school on this church. Now, what we find interesting, and I'm gonna zoom this up so you can see it, there's funding for ESA. That's the Hispanic children. They have special funding, and they get up to $17,000 per year in California to bring these non-speaking kids and putting them in the system. I'll wait. See, we're so busy talking about Trump, I hate Trump. You know, impeachment and all that other stuff that's going on. And Kale and rest in peace, Gobi and all these other stuff. I want you to realize that while you working your hard-earned dollar, your taxpaying dollar, $17,000 per year are going to ESA. Those are Hispanic children, special education, special money, educational savings accounts going towards the Hispanic communities. And then the Black people only get a portion of that money. We get a portion of that money, but we have to have conversations and talk. Another thing that's going on right now is the Pan-African Film Festival, which takes place actually right now. It started on the 11th. And I want you guys to take place and make sure you check this out. February 11th through the 21st is over near the Crenshaw Mall, where Magic Johnson Theater used to be, off of Martin Luther King Boulevard and Crenshaw Boulevard. Now, why should we go to this? It is one of the largest festivals, and I believe that we need to talk about ADOS. We need to talk about Black family first, and we need to have conversation with these people because some reason, my problem with these LA Hollywood elite entertainers is that they don't care about Black people. And they're gonna be crying over Kobe because this is California. And rest in peace, Kobe. No disrespect. I really appreciate what the brother did for his team. But the bottom line is, where are we now for the living? Well, we have living conversations. Well, we have real conversations. Look, these are platforms, events that are going on that we need to write down and go to. And I'm going to post them on the bottom so that you guys know about them. But it's, again, let's go back to the conversation. If we're going to talk about Black people first and sisters like Vicki Dillard who got cut off, if we're going to talk about groups of men that come together and they don't agree with each other and not understand that there are cultures of people that want to pull you away from your ancestors who died so that you can have a right to be somewhere, what good is it in that you're not awakened to the real matter?
You know, and this is just a small sample of the thousands of losses endured by Black Americans over the years as we fought for freedom and equality in this country that many of today's immigrants just simply take for granted. And you mean to tell me that an immigrant who just got here a few weeks ago is going to jump in front of the line and demand the same size steak on his plate as me?
Yep, that's what they do, right? You mean to tell me them same people that came here, threw that baby underneath the border, my baby, we have to help the immigrants. We can't help our own people. They done mess with the minds of the old and the elderly. And when you go to them old people, you going to tell me you going to put them people before your own? The generation below you, the next generation to come? And we can't have these conversations of BF1s? Y'all better wake up. They're going to cut you like Vicki. You ain't going to even see the knife coming. And then the next thing you look up and you get home and say, I think I got cut off, George. I think they messed me up. Yeah, you messed them up because you finally said something, but you got messed up because you didn't have the words and you didn't equip yourself from knowledge from watching videos that I have and others out there to keep you on point, to not be distracted. Stop paying attention to those Democrat shills. There's Democrat shills right now. The Democrat Party has been divisive, destructive, and all those old Black Democrats who need to get out of office sitting there sleeping and peeing in the pens, y'all need to go somewhere. Take your ass going back home. Sleeping in there, sleeping in Congress while Black children are dying and being targeted and can't get out of prison for some bull crap. Tell them people stop sitting there peeing on the pens. Get them damn diapers off and put somebody who can pee in a toilet in power.
Talking about I'm Black too? Nah, little buddy, you need to go sit down somewhere and be humble. Now, I need you to follow me on this one because this one is about to get deep. You know I'm not just going to tell you what I think without providing solid, irrefutable evidence that supports my argument. Of course not. You see, when Lyndon Baines Johnson addressed the 1965 graduate class of Howard University, he specifically talked about righting the wrongs America had done against the Negro American citizens and their past descendants.
Pay attention.
Keyword.
Listen.
That is the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren, the progeny of the Black sharecroppers, the Black domestic workers, and the historically disenfranchised poor Black working people in this country. President Lyndon Baines Johnson broke all of this down in his equality of opportunity for the Negro American at his commencement speech in 1965. And I'm not going to tell you nothing. I'm going to let him tell you from his own words.
Let me segue right here. This is one of the worst presidents next to Lyndon and next to Andrew Johnson, who was vice president, who took over after Lincoln was assassinated, who was a Republican. Andrew Johnson was a Democrat who cut us from getting any reparations, any land, any preparations that were supposed to be allotted to us after we served in that war. After we served and became emancipated in 1865. Fast forward in 1970, and then Kennedy got assassinated. Hear me out. 2 assassinations, and we got leftover presidents. This man, Lyndon B. Johnson, came into place. Now, Lyndon B. Johnson's doing this speech, and people think this speech was passionate and enduring, and what he said was empowering. But there's a TikTok, there's a twister to this, and that is Lyndon B. Johnson instilled what they call the Great Society. Get your notebooks out. Don't listen to me and just be eating popcorn and have your glass of wine. I need you to write that down. Great Society. The Great Society of Lyndon B. Johnson was basically to bring in civil rights, which is now twisted and become the ABC, the EFG People's Society. which is now because the immigrants and the illegal immigrants. We've allowed that because we didn't stand up early enough and said civil rights were not for you. They were for black people. Our voices weren't loud enough. We didn't put our foots out there loud enough, and now they're empowered. But let's go back to what this brother is saying. Lyndon B. Johnson had some guidelines that he said that should have been instilled. But guess what? They never were enforced. But what was it that he said that we were going to get? What did he say we were going to get that we didn't get? Why? Because we did not hold them to the fire. We didn't grab them by the kahunas. We didn't hold them and say, look, you said this, you do it, or we are coming after you. But you ain't got to worry about that. This man was one of the weakest presidents, and he only served 2 years because he punked out and he didn't run the second term of his presidency. So he never fully ran a full presidency. He took over after Kennedy, but he punked out when it came to running again because he couldn't handle the pressure. And then Nixon came into power, but they always talk about Nixon and all the taping. What they don't tell you, and you learn this when you get from behind the computer and you go to the Lyndon B. Johnson Museum in Austin, Texas, this man was obsessed with phone conversations, and he recorded everyone, including Dr. King and all the black people, Eye of Sauron. He was the biggest Eye of Sauron any of the presidents that were out there. So before you get motivated by his speech, understand the devil's in the detail, and the devil's wearing a hat looking at you right now.
Johnson broke all of this down in his equality of opportunity for the Negro American at his commencement speech in 1965. And I'm not going to tell you nothing. I'm going to let him tell you from his own words.
Nothing in any country touches us more profoundly, and nothing is more freighted with meaning for our own destiny than the revolution of the Negro American. In far too many ways, American Negroes have been another nation, deprived of freedom, crippled by hatred, the doors of opportunity closed to hope. But freedom is not enough. You do not wipe away the scars of centuries by saying now, you are free to go where you want and do as you desire and choose the leaders you please. You do not take a person who for years has been hobbled by chains and liberate him, bringing up to the starting line of a race, and then say, you are free to compete with all the others, and still justly believe that you have been completely fair. Thus, it is not enough just to open the gates of opportunity. All our citizens must have the ability to walk through those gates.
I'm going to stop right here. You know what's interesting? I want you to pay attention to this. When people tell you you don't deserve reparations, that's not applicable to you. That really doesn't coincide today. When people tell you, well, how do you prove that? What are you talking about? What pain did your people go through? What proof do you have? See, word to truth. These people already know the answers. These people already know your oppression. They know they're the oppressor. The federal government have coincided to this one world domination society. And you are nothing but sideline. You a sideline Negro. I'll wait. You are a sideline Negro because you're sitting on the sidelines and you're not taking actions. Well, how do I take actions? First, you need to equip the tongue. You must educate the mind, and you must execute the knowledge to your own people. Because here, this man is speaking to a black university in 1965. What is that, 56, 57 years ago? He's speaking to these people. 54, yes, close enough, 54, 55 years ago. And still today, we're still saying, yeah, what you said is right. So what happened? Nothing. Nothing's happened, but it's gotten worse for us.
And this is the next and the more profound stage of the battle for civil rights. We seek not just freedom, but opportunity. We seek not just legal equity, but human ability.
Legal equity. Let's stop right there. Look what this white man said, this Democrat, this Dixiecrat, this radical, liberal, progressive Democrat who could only serve 2 years because he was a punk ass president and could not get in the next years because he was a punk ass Democrat president. Listen to what he's trying to tell you. Because see, there's certain words that they're saying right now that you don't realize it's a threat to them. Let me play that one little segment back. I'm gonna roll it back. They said roll it back, roll it back.
Opportunity through those gates. And this is the next and the more profound stage of the battle for civil rights.
The next profound stage is what?
We seek not just freedom, but opportunity. We seek not just legal equity.
Legal equity. I don't think black people seeking on legal equity because we don't have any legal rights. We've allowed the illegals to have more legal rights than us. We don't have a progressive kind of Johnny Cochran fighter for the people kind of brother leading the fight through legislation and through legal arms of persecution of lawsuits against federal government and judges who are unfair and unkind to our people. Legal equity. Write that word down. Let's learn from this redneck. Let's learn from this Klansman. Learn from him. Legal equity. We don't have that. Now he's giving you key words. He's talking code. Y'all ain't paying attention. He's talking code to you because he said they ain't gonna really listen. I'm gonna be even smart. He said the best thing we can do is let the Negro read and listen, and he won't act. Legal equity. And y'all ain't paying attention. This is how these people are taking us out on a daily basis because we don't have any legal rights.
And completely fair. Thus, it is not enough just to open the gates of opportunity. All our citizens must have the ability to walk through those gates. And this is the next and the more profound stage of the battle for civil rights. We seek not just freedom, but opportunity. We seek not just legal equity, but human ability. Not just equality as a right and a theory, but equality as a fact and equality as a result.
Okay, we're talking about equality as a result. What results are we getting right now, people? Because these black people right now that are still alive, possibly in this crowd, their children's children are probably homeless right now, living on the streets of Los Angeles, didn't acquire that generational wealth because we've been disbanded and pulled out from underneath us from these HB1 visas of these immigrants who are coming into our communities, who are taking over our businesses. You've seen what I've showed you how they've come here and they congregated towards areas in America and they dominate the labor areas. The Native American, not the Native, the Indians are coming in buying all the hotels. The Hispanics have taken over in the construction industry. The Armenians have come in and bought all the gas stations up. The Jews are all in Hollywood. I mean, it goes on and on. But what denominator do we calculate that acquires of us enough wealth to have legal representation protection to be able to go out there and start our own hedge funds? If you don't know what a hedge fund is, you got to do your homework. That we get out there and create our own lobby group. If we don't understand what a lobbyist does, do your homework. And we'll come back to that on another show. But these are tools of empowerment. These are tools of empowerment for a nation of people that have no power. And that comes through money. But if we don't have no money and we have let our rights of empowerment given through previous administrations be manipulated and taken away, then what good is that? Because you guys sleep at the wheel, you sleep at the wheel, you sleep at the wheel. And the Sauron are cutting you off because some of the words that you say are too strong. And some of the words that are spoken to you in a strong coffee you don't even want to drink, or you look at it as entertainment. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not here to keep you awoke. I'm here to have you be disrupted in your matrix and get out of your thinking box and go and become proactive. That's what I want.
For the task is to give 20 million Negroes the same chance as every other American to learn and grow, to work and share.
Did that happen?
Society,
No.
to develop their abilities, physical, mental, and spiritual, and to pursue their individual happiness.
This is what he said civil rights was supposed to do. This was for civil rights. This is the man who signed civil rights into place. You know when we talk about civil rights, he ain't mentioned about no ABCDFG people. He didn't talk about Becky. He didn't talk about Becky that likes to play with fur pies with other Beckys. He didn't talk about none of that. He didn't talk about that. He didn't talk about Maria. He didn't talk about all these other people. He's talking about the Black descendants of slaves. And he gives the narrative at the beginning of what type of Negro he's equating to. So then when people say, well, no, he meant all people and all Africans, people who come from Africa, no tea, no shade to my African brothers and sisters. I appreciate you. I really do. But right now, Black and Americans are hurting right now. And there's a lot of rich Negroes in Nigeria. I want to ask you, you have the capability, you Africans who might be watching my channel, you have the capability to fund some issues going on in America. You have the financial power and the restitute to disrupt our communities here and help us fight this fight. So let me ask you, if you want to be a global economy, if you really want to transcend the wrongs that happened to your ancestors and your descendant cousins like us who are out here in America, who were born and raised and who are of the lineage of descendants of slaves, why don't you put some money and help us get this fight going? Why aren't you bringing over legal representation to talk about the historical ramifications? Why won't you help your own people? The Chinese do. The Jews do. But you know what? We've allowed the Dixiecrats. Oh, that's right. The siren eye, the eye that's watching us right now, listening to our channel, does not want us to be educated, to be informed, to break down some basic truths. I got to break it down. I got to break it down. I know I'm redundant. I know some of you guys said, Shirley, go to the next part. Keep it going. Keep it going. I want to absorb. Blah, blah, blah. It's good to absorb. It's good to have that thriving energy. You're young. You want it. But I got to slow you down. I got to pull you down. I got to sit you down, Becky. I got to sit you down, Shaniqua. I got to sit you down, Tyrone. Girl, that weave on your head too tight. Slow down. And let me wake you up and get out of them housewives and that makeup and them drag queen looks that you see you put yourself through every day. And understand that you are allowed to be more than what they are trying to make you look, be, and think, because they're playing games on you. And the civil rights didn't even come to you because you have been disenfranchised by foreigners who claim to be your rights. That's some bull. You know what I'm going to say.
Again, the affirmative action policies that Lyndon B. Johnson signed into federal law were specifically to address the past injustices against the Negro American citizens and their descendants, and not these other immigrants, whether they be from Africa, Caribbeans, India, South, or East Asia, period. And this is just another reason why this whole skin color identity politics is pure trash, especially when it comes to us. Now, me personally, I'm not even the biggest proponent of affirmative action in its current form. I mean, I don't believe in any achievement manipulation in any way because overall, it cheapens your accomplishments at the end of the day. You know, I would personally be more open to some sort of a tuition forgiveness for African Americans who are direct descendants of slaves. I mean, that would be a better redress for the economic disenfranchisement that we've experienced over the years in this country, to me. I mean, you really don't want people questioning the validity and the quality of your degree after you done worked hard for it just because of some law that mandates your acceptance into some school. Now, what if we were to receive some type of tuition reimbursement? I mean, a lot of that couldn't even happen because Black folks are too busy trying to sing Kumbaya and play Care Bears in the Sky politics with everybody. I mean, all of these liberal politics of great speeches and swaggified presidential selfies, I mean, none of that is going to get us where we need to be, especially when you have an immigrant teen whose parents are immigrants from Ghana and he gets accepted to like all 8 Ivy League universities.
Oh, I'll wait. Now, I'm no tea, no shade on the Africans. We're not trying to hit it down nobody. But I want to ask you, if you Africans come here and benefit off of the infrastructure set by the African-American descendants of slaves, there's many of you guys who are watching now who are African, Ghana, and Nigeria. I want to ask you, my brother, why have you not invested in dignified business Black Americans your money here? Because we know you want our money, you want our time, and you want our knowledge. And we would like to be bi-coastal. We would like to transcend that same knowledge. I have no problem with working with you, but life is about reciprocity for me. I myself am a businesswoman, and I would say to any of you, life is about reciprocity. And unless you put something on the table, don't keep asking me to put something on the table. I already put something on the table. I put the civil rights. I put the opportunity through my descendants and through my heirs of who I am and my past people. We put something on the table. There's our penance. Look at your children getting degrees because of Black Americans. But yet we as Black Americans have not acquired anything from those who are wealthy, because if you look at the top 10 wealthiest Blacks in America, in the world, I think like 6 or 7 of those people are from Africa. They're billionaires. And you can't tell me one of them can't break 10 million off or $100 million off to disrupt the federal government into making us a priority system. So when people talk about when you go to Africa, don't ask them for anything, I ain't got to ask nothing. You done took everything from me when you came here. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm talking business, baby. It's called business. Life is about reciprocity. When am I going to win?
I mean, this is not a victory for native-born African Americans. Seriously. Or when the Black engineer from Zimbabwe makes partner at the prestigious management consulting firm at McKinsey & Company. I mean, this is not a victory for us. Or when these children from India get scholarships and jobs in the STEM professions. This is not a victory for us, nor does it address the need to invest in education and skills for the native-born Black American descendants of slave children so we can be equipped to successfully compete in the opportunities of tomorrow in these important STEM industries.
You need to wake up that these people are purposely replacing you, A, because you've said nothing, and B, because you not understand your own history and the opportunities that are right before you. We are distracted by fake Black news. We're distracted by the media. We're distracted by seeing petty conversations and housewives conversations that had no merit in putting money in your pocket. I'll wait. See, the only people that watch my show are people that want to be broke. All y'all want to watch that drama bullshit, or you want to see them fight online with Yvette and Tariq and all of them get all emotional and blah, 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 blah. I ain't got time for that. I'm trying to equip you with knowledge of empowerment as a descendant of slaves and your legislational rights, your economy rights, your local, state, and federal rights by having conversations with each other. But if you cannot have a conversation with each other, then who can you have a conversation with? If I don't speak in a manner that makes you feel comfortable, then this ain't the channel for you. But if you feel I'm uncomfortable because I just didn't know, then know and do something. Get off of your assets and do something locally of things that pertain to you, but don't give your rights to somebody else because it leaves you way behind.
You know, this all reminds me of this Indian actress. I know many of y'all probably know her from the show The Office. The actress name is Mindy Kaling. Well, she has a brother named Vijay Kokalingam. This dude lied and posed as a Black man years ago to get into medical school, right? Now, through what he called the hypocrisy of affirmative action. Keyword, the hypocrisy of affirmative action. You see, these are the same people who are actively working against us all while playing the quote unquote people of color card to their own benefit. Don't believe me? Check out this absolute treachery for yourself. And mind you, he only confessed to this after he failed out of medical school. Yeah, check this out.
First on the docket, an affirmative action hacktivist, best known as being TV and film star Mindy Kaling's brother, or as he says, nemesis, Vijay Jojo Chokalingam. Welcome to the docket.
Sure. Back in 1997, I was kind of a college frat boy, more interested in partying than studying. My best friend, Indian American, just like me, a year older, did not get into medical school. And I realized that with my grades and test scores, I was not going to get in either. So what I did was I read a lot of statistics that the medical schools were discriminating against their Asian American and white applicants and in favor of their Hispanic and African American applicants as part of a program that they called 3,000 by 2000, essentially a racial quota scheme. I realized that I would dramatically improve my chance of admission by posing as an African American. At the time, I calculated about a 30% to 40% chance of increase. Today, if I did the same thing last year, I would have increased my chances of admission from 17% to 74%, according to published data by the American Medical Association.
Now, he didn't think of this on his own. I'm going to intervene real quick. This was a strategy. These Indian people from India who have come here at the very beginning were not accepted. But they said, we can replace the Negro. They're stupid Negro. We're going to be better than them. And they have all these benefits set up for them. They have Black organizations. I'm going to get away from the South Indian Asian organization. I'm going to go ahead and join over here with the Black organization. And then I'm going to change my name. I'm gonna be from VJ to Jojo. I'm gonna give myself a black name, and then I'm gonna shave my hair. Because see, if I shave my hair, I can look like one of them. And then I'll start talking like one of them. Now, I'm sure there were Black people looked at him with a side eye saying, that man ain't Black, that man's from India. But he probably said, no, I'm from a certain part of Africa and I'm African American. So they and he hung out with Blacks, and he started eating fried chicken and eating grits and doing Coke 45 nightclubs with Camilla wannabe Black Harris, because she's Indian too. He's into him, and let me tell you, two peas that run together, pots together. Kamala wannabe Black Harris. This man and her come from India descent. And they rode off of what was set up for you for themselves. And y'all didn't say nothing.
Anyway, I shaved my head, trimmed my long Indian eyelashes, and applied to medical school as an African American. I interviewed at 11 medical schools across America in 9 different cities while posing as Black. And I actually succeeded in getting into medical school at St. Louis University in Missouri.
Okay.
The purpose of the graph is to make a very important statistical and sociological point about the nature of affirmative action discrimination. Basically, I dramatically improved my chances of admission by posing as a Black man, and the statistics play me out on that.
Okay, Vijay,
well, according to published data, I mean, it's not just my opinion. I'm a financial analyst, actually a CFA charter holder by training. I dig data-driven decisions. And this is an example of a data-driven decision. By placing, according to published statistical data, I dramatically improved my chances of admission by posing as African-American. Your listeners are intelligent people. They can decide for themselves. Do they think that they let me into medical school with a 3.1 GPA because they let in every kid with a 3.1 GPA? Or do you think that they cut me a lot of slack because I posed as an African American?
When you start,
see, now I'm gonna stop the channel right there. I want you to understand something about these people. These people are plants. They're plants to break down the infrastructure that was creative because of your people's pain. But your people's pain infrastructure was broken down. It was broken down because these Indians and these other foreign people have come here and they've taken over what we've talked about. And look what Brad said. This is an invasion of the body snatchers. These are invasion of the body snatchers. Now I'm gonna put the tag in the stream for those who want to come in. Let's talk. Dimitri, if you're still watching, I'd love to have you on the stream. I put it in the stream right now. If you guys want to chime in, I'm gonna take a couple of you guys in. If you want to ask me some questions and tell me, what do you think about the fact? It's right there. Click on there. It's gonna tell you. If you can't, please put an avatar up. Because if you start showing crazy pictures, I'm gonna just have to cut you off. I really don't want to see your house. Keep it clean or keep yourself clean. And if I gotta cut you off and you get kind of ghetto, you know, I love my people, but I can't deal with ignorance. But if you'd like to come on and have a conversation, I'd like to talk to someone who has been watching this channel right now and tell me, Vicki Dillard got cut off today. Black people are getting cut off. We are waking up to the fact that the new black media is penetrating the old black media, and the old black media has had to alter some decision making. They've not been able to twist the narratives to get the people distracted, to pull them off their course and their main point. While I'm waiting for people, if anybody wants to come and chat, you're more than welcome. I put the link in the chat room, and if you can just wait and hold on, I want to show you one more thing.
All right. That's what we do. Me, my boy Anthony, Jones, all the guys I work with back in Northern Virginia, this is the shit we do. I live this shit for real. I do the best I can, where I can, and I help who I can. Now, those who are already in the game, who are already in corporations or in contracting or in the government, I help them get to the next level. I try to help who I can based on the fact that they're willing to do the work and they have the skill set to do it. I don't waste time with motherfuckers who don't want to do the work, who don't have the skill set to do it. I don't do that. All right, I don't do that. I don't just help anybody, but I do help those who have the will. They gotta have the will to do it, and it's the same thing with us. We gotta have the will. If we don't have the will to get what we want, we're never gonna have it. It's not gonna happen. You gotta have the will first. So when we get the best minds in the room, that's what we gotta collectivize about. What do we want as black men and black women? Do we want a black future or not? And how do we get it? So we gotta look at the landscapes, look at different areas of the country. Look at different markets. I live in Stafford County, Virginia. There's a lot of houses on the market right now. All right. There's about 20% black there. Take that shit over. We're not moving. We're not migrating anymore. We got stagnant. Because I know my grandparents, dirt poor in Savannah, Georgia, and Macon, Georgia, and in Arkansas, they got enough sense to get their ass up and move to New York where they have more resources.
Let me tell you something he said, which is so true. We've got stagnant and we don't migrate. If you realize you're in a situation financially and economically, and you do have the capability to move, then move. If you're watching my video and you're sleeping under 10 and it's cold as hell where you're at, get your mind right. I rebuke those evil spirits that are upon you right now in the name of Jesus. I ask the Lord to free your mind and free your spirit from that oppressive demon of darkness that is in your life in the name of Jesus. And I release that mind to be free to hear what I have to say. That if you realize by the calculation of what you have, but nothing but a backpack and a coat, and that you got your last Section 8 check, that you can take a train, a bus, or boat or somewhere, get your ass out of California if you're on the streets and ain't got no hope. Because it ain't better on the streets, it's better under a roof. And we need to migrate. Go to the South, get the federal government to transfer your check, which they can do. Take your last dollar, plan out a strategy, and if you got family members, call and forgive them. Sleep on their last porch. Say, look, I sleep in the back room. I sleep on the porch outside. I just can't deal with these streets anymore. Humble yourself. Humble yourself. And if you got family members asking for help, please don't be an asshole. Please realize that Negro has got some issues. And you his last hope that he would take the time to call you. That he would take the time and ask you to help him. And you say, I done helped him before, Shirley. He done took me under. She done messed me up. And you tell them, you can stay here, but you're going to stay on that back porch. And you give them a couple warnings. Now, if you didn't warn them all, you can say, sister, I can't do it no more. You can't do it. Then the next person they got to go to. But all I'm saying is start praying and try to raise you up and help your people.
Sources. All right.
Let me ask everybody this then. Do we address the collective or do we address different individual groups in these different subject matters?
Well, I wanted to say that earlier, man, because a lot of people are sitting up here acting as though the cats over here talking about SYSBM means that it's every man for yourself. Nobody ever said that. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about not having black communities. We're not talking about that. I keep repeating the same thing over and over again. It's about escaping the bullshit culture that was forced on us. This isn't about we hate black women. This isn't about we're not trying to work together. I say that repeatedly.
All right, so let me give you some red meat. Let me just make sure we clear on something. I'm not one of these brothers out here telling you to bend down or bend a knee to black women. The way I operate in my life,
I didn't interpret it like that.
No.
You did come on here very strongly talking about we're constantly talking about pussy. And that's not the topic. It ain't about
you. I ain't say you, bro. I'm talking about on YouTube in general. All right, and I'm talking about.
Yeah, but we can't account for those other channels, bro. You got to. You're here on this channel, so you got to account for the cast here on this channel.
Brother, I did that earlier. I said I conceded. I'm not going to throw y'all niggas in the bucket. I said it earlier, right?
He did do that. He did do that.
I said, you know what? My bad. I'm not going to throw everybody in the bucket. But I go
before you continue, Jay Sean, I just want to say I commend you for working with the youth.
Thank you,
the youth is important. In order for us to even see a change, we have to look at the future, right? And the children are the future.
Yeah.
And to Jay Sean's credit,
and I am a black. I was still just to make peace on this panel. I was still a term from BGS, and I'm back pill when it comes to that shit. It's all business for me. You know what I mean? It's all business for me. But the way I look at this shit, as war. You know what I mean? And at my age, at 42 years old, I've had my fun. I have resources. I had know-how. I know a lot of fucking people. I can get a lot of people on if they want to do the work. You know what I mean? And we got to move. Yeah. We got to fucking move. Being in the country for 400 fucking years to being where we are, to me, it burns my fucking soul. You know what I mean? So forgive me for being prideful.
There's two ways, there's two different angles to work at a particular problem, especially in this country, right? It's on the ground, and the other way is through policy, right? Right. Shirley and I, we don't always agree. Well, we try to work it the way through policy, because if you don't change the policy or adjust the policy, you're gonna keep getting the same thing. So what you do on the ground is gonna go for naught.
Gotcha. I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you.
So in other words, a lot of stuff that I do, especially on my channel, it's about policy. Talking to people, put it in language so people that can have the ear, or inside the room, can actually get a different angle or policy to change it, to make it better.
I agree with that. I've always said black men gotta get political, and that's one of the biggest regrets
policy is not always made, especially not initially made in politics. It's actually made in the universities first, and then it bubbles out. So you have to get to the thinkers, to the creators, to the people that write the freaking papers that the politicians read.
All right, so maybe
let me add something to that too. And policies are made by the people like me and you. If we're going to talk about reparations, how do you approach it? Because you've heard the brother earlier say we need to approach it through education. Then you heard the brother earlier talk about what happened back in the 1800s. 1912 issue. And then you've heard me talk about it from a Freedmen Bureau Bank perspective. And I'll shout out to those who watch that channel. And I'm going to go back and I'll talk about that another time. I want to really break down Freedmen Bureau over and over and over so that you guys have some kind of meat and some kind of ticket to hold in your hand, because there's so many tickets, there's so many issues. But I want you to understand the dysfunction of other cultures taking over what you have to say. But this is the start. Please give a shout out to Art. And if you guys are not watching Art's channel, this brother right here, make sure the brother at the top right here above my picture, you go to his channel and watch him and support him, because it's important that we get our voice out to each other and talk to each other. And the more we talk, the more we learn, the more we grow. But we cannot grow, my people, unless we understand the narratives are being twisted. The voices are being silent, and the eye of Sauron is watching you. The eye of Sauron is watching you. And so if he's watching you, what does that really mean? He's going to cut you off, yes. He's going to step in your cesspool, yes. He's going to create narratives to make you angry, to have you distracted, so that you're talking nothing but about celebrities. That's all you're talking about is celebrities. Celebrity. Well, those celebrity situation, that gets old. That gets old, because the bottom line, we are hurting as a nation of people. We're on the verge of extinction. And yes, California is the front line. California is the front line to the failure that is going on because of the liberal progressives that have been in this state and the Americans who have sit here and done nothing. They've done nothing. We've allowed nothing to take place and nothing to really heal our country. And unless we wake up and start having voices at the table, unless we wake up and start understanding that we have to be B1 first, Black Americans first, hear each other out first, and sit down and talk to our children and say, do you know what a Negro is? Do you know what a minority is? Because see, these public schools, these liberal progressive women, they are twisting our voices. These liberal progressive women are changing what we've been telling people about and making it their narrative. And then they get to your child's ear. They're telling your child how to think, how to act, how to be part of the protocol. This is all I want to know. This is what's happening right now. But instead of us saying something, instead of us having the voices and conversation together, we're too busy drinking Coke 45s. We're too busy hanging out. We're too busy fighting each other. Who's better, the FBA people or the people who are the foundational Black people? Which one is first? Or is it the Africans? Or is it the Indians? I mean, come on. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it 100. Because if we can't keep it real and 100, then how are we supposed to grow? You grow when you know, my people. You grow when you know. But if you don't want to know, and you want to allow these JoJos in the world, JoJo right there in the world to take over, then what good is it? I'm going to show you something else. Now, y'all don't think I'm out in this field. I'm out here, but you need to do stuff like this. You need to go down to your city council meetings and cause them hell.
Have taken the time to take taxpayer dollars to aid and abet against the American people. This is an attack against the federal government. California is now under siege. According to the Constitution, we the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice and domestic tranquility. The domestic tranquility is now under attack. California is under siege, and so as of January 20th, we are requesting that Donald J. Trump come and intervene in our behalf. California is now being conducted by the supervisors of the state of California and the county of California. California will not be or ever be a sanctuary state. We also want to let every police law enforcement that hears my voice, the LAPD, and any law enforcement that aid and abet these supervisors will be questioned and reviewed. The new Homeland Security and ICE police will be fully invested. We will no longer want unskilled
See, now that was 2017. Well, I guess they proved me wrong because California is now a sanctuary city. And the reason why we're a sanctuary city, the reason why we've become infatuated with these crazy ass immigrants and liberals, because there was not enough people like me on the front line. And I got tired and I got worn, and like many of us who had put ourselves second and not first, and got tired of seeing what was happening in our community and our Black people being circumvented and hurting in this country. And we expected Black leaders to do something. There are no Black leaders. And the Black leadership starts with you, my people. The voices start with you. The community starts with you. But if you don't understand that you're being approached and you're being attacked and you're being oppressed, and that these people can come and sell in your neighborhoods, on your streets, and you don't say nothing, that's your fault.
How much is that one?
This is legal in California. You can get out there and you can sell on the street.
Thank you so much. $8. I'm with my friend Deontay from DC.
Now I want you to see.
Downtown LA.
This is on the corner street.
There's the Garland Park across.
These people have a dinner table on the street, cooking dinner, and they don't get arrested. Ain't nobody stopping these people. They got grocery carts that they stole that says Ralph's and everything else. Ain't nobody stopping them. This is okay. And then Black people don't even say nothing. But you can sell you some incense and some t-shirts and see if they don't pull your ass over.
Street. They got the food going on.
We are looters in our community. And I know I've showed you that video before, but I had to bring up the fact of we've showed you the Indians, we've showed you the illegals, and we've showed you we've done many things to try to get you people to wake up. But you're not waking up. And then there's the distractors. Let me tell you real quick, I need you to understand there are people who are in policies right now, excuse me, who've come out and who we thought were on our side, who are fighting in our best interest. But they didn't fight in our best interest. They fought in their own best interest. And they've caused us to fall. They've caused us to stumble. And we think these people like us, but they don't. Just because someone says Trump, 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 that's going to be the answer. Just because someone says anti-Trump is the answer, there isn't the answer. The answer starts with you having conversations, from you doing your homework. Hear me out. And by doing your homework, you can see the real truth. I'm trying to find this one channel. Ooh, bear with me. I'm like, where is that video that's out there? Because we were lied to. We were lied to, and we were dysfunctional and disfranchised. And because we allowed the disfranchising of we are as a people, excuse me, hold on.
Down to 6%. We have 6% African Americans in this state.
Again, I keep pushing those, just get certain, what I want you to understand, there's certain affirmations and certain things you need to say over and over so that you can see how to disrupt people to think. Now, you guys have seen stuff like this. You've seen these people selling on your streets. And you could go down to your city council meetings, like I just showed you. Go down to your city council meetings and start show these people. Show how these people are doing and say, well, why can they do this? And then here I am. I want to show you something. Now you saw me showing all these people cooking, right? So I walked my ass across the street, and guess what was across the street? Let me show you what was across the street. LAPD. And they wasn't even arresting these people. That's how ghetto this freaking town is. LAPD ain't doing shit. Or they working with the gang members. Let me show you the cops I videotaped.
Oh, Mexicans. These are a bunch of Mexican cops. We're going to go say hello to the Mexican cops. Oh, there's a black person. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. See, they get scared when cameras come. Hi. How are you doing? What you scared about? It's just a camera. How you doing? Okay, I have a question. It's a public park, so yeah.
He says, we're having a meeting here. I said, oh yeah, it's a public park. I'm trying to act like Happy Becky, because these motherfuckers are trigger happy. And they can turn your words and say you threaten them, and they've got a reason to arrest you. So you got to be extra happy and act like you intimidated, so that way you come off this game. You got to play the game.
How do you deal with the sanitation issues here downtown in Los Angeles? Isn't this illegal for these people to be selling goods and frying? The mayor says it's legal.
Now, he's going by, the mayor says it's legal. This is a young rookie cop right here. And I didn't want to cross him too much. Again, I don't want to get arrested. I don't want to deal with all that. But I had to let you hear this, how ignorant this man was. The mayor says it's legal. When does the mayor circumvent law? When does the mayor circumvent law? Because I could have cross-examined him that way, but I wanted you to hear LA's finest and how LA finest ain't that fine. Because that's what I'm talking about. We got to come together and create some kind of lawsuits and some kind of actions towards these people. Because listen. I'm sorry. I got to make it clear to you. I got to break it down plain to you. They ain't that smart. They're not that smart. But you get intimidated easily and you get emotional. Get control of your emotions and listen to the real truth that's going on in you.
Mayor and city council. So Garcetti and the city council has approved this.
They haven't legalized it yet, but they said it's not. We don't have the.
So you don't have the. Do you know there is a code ordinance regarding health and sanitation, right? Okay, and there's. It's not to enforce law. But if immigration, ICE police came in or martial law came in, you know that they would. And so would you be willing to work in conjunction with martial law? If you're told to. But if they told not to, you wouldn't work with them.
If we're told to by our mayor, the mayor has a hold on these people. The mayor is Eric Garcetti, and the governor is Gavin Newsom, which is Nancy Pelosi's nephew. The nepotism party, hear me out, the nepotism party controls the police department. And he says, we don't go by law. We go by what the mayor says. We go by but the law says this. We don't care about the law. This is what the police officer just told you. Let me back that up so you can hear it. I know I'm going to be redundant. Be patient. Share with me. Listen. Don't go nowhere. Listen. Share this video. Get the thumbs up. There's a lot of you watching right now, but you need to get the thumbs up so other people can hear. And you need to share this on your platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Listen how this officer circumvents law in his actions of answers by saying, but the mayor says whatever he says we do, not law. We don't abide by law. We don't serve and protect under law. We serve and protect under what the mayor says. So you don't have do you know there is a code ordinance regarding health and sanitation, right? Okay, and there's, it's not to enforce law. But if immigration, ICE police came in or martial law came in, you know that they would. And so would you be willing to work in conjunction with martial law? If you're told to. But if they told not to, you wouldn't work with them. Okay. I mean, how do you feel working under that type of leadership when we talk about the safety in our country? Huh? No, you don't have a meeting on that? No. Wow. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for your service. You too. God bless you. Okay. Now, I want you to notice how they were going to have a conversation with me. And like, you think these people are smart. These people ain't that smart. I'm sorry. They are not that smart. They're that empowered because they got a gun. They got that empowerment because they're positioned. But we sat back and had police officers tell us that they're not going to abide by the law. Did anybody hear that? Or am I just hearing these people talk air? Because they said we go by what the governor and the mayor says. California is not safe for Black people. Write that down. California is not the most safest place for Black people. So don't come here thinking that you're going to run this ship and fix this state when the state's got too many insiders working against us. Y'all see that? Those were insiders. Those were insiders. People who did not care about other people other than whatever the culture of the people that the mayor supports. But instead, we sit back and see what our people are. They living homeless on the streets. They crying. They talking about their family members. And then the elderly Blacks, I'm sorry, I'm going to go after Black people a little old Black people, because you people have your mind stuck on stupid. You stuck on stupid right now. And it's sad because these are good Black people, but it's too late for them. Like this system I'm about to show you, it's too late for this wonderful woman. She's an older Black woman. Who is he have?
Actress, all right? Yeah.
Do you support Jerry Brown?
Some issues he have, I do. His father.
Jerry Brown. Was Jerry Brown's father?
Pat Brown?
Okay, Jerry Brown was governor at the time of this video. I filmed this video in 2017. I walked the streets. So when people come talk to me and try to talk about me, I said, let me make this clear. Your ass ain't out on the street trying to talk to Black people to get their perspective. This woman's got a cell phone, living in a tent, got her Section 8 a check. I said she lived in Palmdale. She doesn't. She said she lived in Pasadena. So you can watch this video on my YouTube channel in fully, but I want you to hear some things she has to say.
He was the governor of California too at one time.
And she's very defensive about Democrats. She hates Republicans for whatever reason, but the Democrats are God's gift to mankind. That's why you're living in a tent, lady.
And my mother had real close ties to the Brown family. A lot of the things that he's doing, I don't, you know.
She said her mother had ties to the Brown family. Then if her mother's still alive or the ties that they had, why didn't they help you? Why did they not help you? Why did you build a relationship with a family of wealth? That basically, if you could go back in time and say, Mama, don't deal with the Brown family. They're going to make us destitute and have me living out of the tent.
I think is right.
Yes, sir.
You know, but hey, you do what you feel you have to do.
Well, right now, Brown has set aside monies and he's creating what they call a California bond to help immigrants and refugees. He wants more refugees and immigrants to flood California. Listen. How do you feel about that? Here we go.
I think that's right, and I think a lot of that has to do with like this rivalry that a lot of California politicians have gone with Trump.
But we've been having this.
They shouldn't fight. Fight their personal battles at the expense of the people's life. That's what they shouldn't do. But that 0.5% tax that was created and approved by voters in 2016 for homeless. You know that they came up $270 million short.
Who, the city did? City did. So where did that money go?
Somebody miscalculated. That's what they saying. Somebody.
Oh, so you're saying that they didn't have enough money to?
They didn't have enough money for the housing and stuff because California voters voted for that 0.5% tax for homeless.
Well, there's no Republicans that pretty much in California anymore. It's all Democrats.
And the one that they do have,
there's no ones left.
In California, Republicans.
But not that many, like maybe 4.
You got the head of the intelligence committee is from California.
Right. Your governor is a Democrat.
Then you have.
So you think if we
I think you have one.
Now let me tell you the interesting part to me when you talk about Black older people, and I'm not trying to, I'm a Republican, so I am defendant about the Republican Party and all its faults and flaws, and I don't give them a pass either. There's things that the Republican Party I've talked about in the past, and I'll talk about in the future, of where they have failed us as a people. But I'm talking about Black people in general. With this generation that you see right before me, this is a 67-year-old Black woman. When you're trying to make it just very clear, I'm letting her talk and not be rude, but I'm saying, ma'am, what you understand is you keep talking about the Republican, and President Trump. Your situation, ma'am, that you are currently in right now, homeless on the streets of Los Angeles, is because of the liberal progressive Democrat state of California that has us be on a demise of 6%. That's all I was trying to get her to understand, but I couldn't. Because if you notice when you talk to this generation, and y'all know what I'm talking about, put some thumbs up, come right now, somebody put in there hashtag BF1 and some thumbs up, BF1. Y'all know exactly what they're not thinking Black family first. They're not thinking Black family first. No. They've got to protect the Democrat Party. For whatever reason, they become protective of legislators who have caused the demise for the next generation. And when you talk to them, tick, 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 something in their mind is not calculating the fact that policies on a local level have dispositioned me to this point. But she goes into this rant about Newsom, and she goes into this rant about Trump and them not working together. And she does know the fact that the money never got to the homeless people. But she does not tie in the fact that the local legislator in her home state of California has put this oppression upon her and the next generation.
And in Orange County and one in San Diego.
One in San Diego's resigned. One or two don't make a difference. When you have
the hundreds they have in Central California makes a difference because he's the head of the intelligence committee.
Okay, so the head of the intelligence is in charge of all of this homelessness. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. The people, they know what the root of the problem of homelessness is.
What is that?
It's greed.
I agree. You're right.
It's greed. That's what it is. And the one he had over the Treasury, what's his name, Mintz or something?
I'm gonna answer somebody's question in the chat room. Why won't these sorry ass Black celebrities out in Los Angeles help Black people? I'm gonna tell you why. Because they think they're 1%ers. They don't care. By the way, this location ain't nothing but 5 minutes away from the Staples Centers. Ain't nothing but 5 minutes away from the Staples Center. People park and pay $60 to $100 to park for that game. This is walking distance. People park where these people are and walk to the damn game. See, Black people are thought of as subhuman. We're subhuman people. But yet, going back to the eye of Sauron, Sauron wants you to see your people as subhuman and that you're not conscious of them. We're trying to wake you up. You talk about Vicki, Dillard, you talk about Art, you talk about BGS, you talk about myself, T. West, Phil from the Advice Show, Diners. All of us are trying to wake people up who are trying to bring a consciousness to an unconscious society. But instead, we've allowed immigrants and Indians and Mexicans and Armenians and Chinese to circumvent us. And what can we do? We have to stay awakened, because that eye is constantly suppressing ideologies and ideas out there. So yeah, Hollywood, what you talking about, Gayle King? Hollywood wants you listening to Snoop Dogg, because every Black person loves the Snoop Dogg. We all smoking weed and hanging out. We all Snoop Dogg people. We're not intellectually sound people that are pushing for legislations and rights for the betterment of culture of people. We're not those kind of Negroes. We'd rather be old and suppressed like this sister on a tent that wants to act like she's gonna have the most intellectual conversation. But sister, you living in a tent. Let's get down to the bare basics. Stop trying to come off like you're the smartest person in the room and realize you are dispositioned, and government's not helping you, and neither are you helping yourself by thinking, well, I ain't got to pay no taxes, no electric, no light. These people's minds are gone. And you guys in the rest of the country, this is coming to your neighborhood and you ain't paying attention.
You're going to be broke tonight.
The one that
You'll be broke tonight.
He foreclosed on thousands and thousands of Californian homes. And he got him over the Treasury Department.
Okay. What can we do to make the state of California better for Black people?
Black people need to come together. First, you have to come together. Everybody's opinion needs to be brought as one opinion.
Yes. No matter what party or and all that, does it matter?
It ain't about no party.
Okay.
It's not about that. It's about people's lives and surviving. That's what it's about. It don't matter what party you're from, because and that's what the argument and the disagreements and stuff is now in Washington. Is about the party. You know, which party gonna win this, which party gonna win that. And it's not even about that.
Now that part she got right. It is not about the party, it's about the people. Right now, Nancy Pelosi keep pushing for another form of impeachment. Oh, by the way, they can impeach him again. For those who don't know law, that's a whole nother conversation. The House impeached the president, and then the Senate said, nope, that ain't happening, because the Senate is a majority of Republicans. And those who have followed me, I told you he will not be impeached. So the Senate voted it down. He's not impeached. He's going to be the first president in United States history who was impeached by the House, but reelected by the people, because the stadiums are filled with Trump supporters. So that's not your fight. President Trump is going to win. Win or lose, he's going to win. My question to you is, my people, what piece of legislation are you holding Congress accountable for to put before this president who says he wants the Black vote? I don't want to give the president a Black vote. I want to see the president understand he needs the Black bloc. We need to come as a unit of Black women, Black men, and a Black family as a unit together. But if we're going to get distracted by Nancy Pelosi tearing up papers at the State of the Union, if we're going to get distracted by Gavin Newsom and Eric Garcetti misdirecting police officers in the streets of California, if we're going to be misdirected by Black media with Gayle King and her emotional damage issues, and Oprah Winfrey, who's in a state of shock that the Black community is not supporting her and turning their backs on you, if we're going to be distracted by housewives of Atlanta who wear more makeup than drag queens, I'm just being honest, because Black women are naturally beautiful anyway. You know, I believe in wearing makeup. I love me some makeup. But it gets to the point that these are distractions. These are visual distractions that you're not pulling up and pulling yourself back to become a person of reason and of intellectual mindsets to come together as a voting bloc of a culture of people. That is what we need to do.
It don't matter. I can walk down the street and get dressed right now and go to Beverly Hills, and they think I'm a Black Republican. It's not even about that. It's about people's lives. You have the.
Now, the interesting part about these older Black people, they equate Black wealth or success to Black Republicans. Though you got Democrats who've been Black and successful, but they realize, they say, well, the Black successful Blacks are Democrats or Republicans. Well, if we're going to give the credit to the people who should get the credit, who are more about capitalism and empowerment of business opportunities, which is the Republican Party and not the Democrats, because the Democrats are divisive. The Democrats continue to want to have us leading down that road of dependency and governmental infused programs that Lyndon B. Johnson put during the Great Society. Do your homework, take notes. If we're going to continue down that road, this was the generation that infused that. This is the generation that said, see, those Republicans that are with suits on in Beverly Hills, those blacks who are suits on in Beverly Hills, those were Republicans. We don't want to be like that. We want to be destitute and homeless. That's what we need to be. We need to be Democrats. And we need to depend on whatever the Democrats give you. Well, you've been given the bag of tricks, lady. Tricks are for kids. We got some grown people watching this video, and they ain't playing jacks with you ain't no more.
You have the majority of these people are elders that were getting put out of their homes.
Why were they doing that in California? Why were they putting black elders out of their homes?
It wasn't just black. It was white people too.
White people too.
Yeah, being taken out of their home. You know that bank that was out there this is on film.
That brother had to get that code at 45. Code 45. There's always a brother with a code 45. Let me wind that up one more time. She said, look, we on film. He said, look at this Negro. Look. He's looking around with that one eye to the left and right. He's saying, I got to get this sip in. This girl taping too damn long.
That was out there this is on film.
Let them be themselves. That's so good. Go ahead.
What is that? Oh my God! I see it too. The building, because I lived in Pasadena.
Did you have a home in Pasadena at one time?
Yeah, I lived out there, and the rent went up.
She said, "Yeah, I lived out there. The rent went up. Yeah, the rent out there in Pasadena could run from $28 to $45 to $5,000 to $6,500 a month for rent." That's right, my brothers and sisters. You too could be spending between $40,000 to $60,000 to $70,000. $60,000 to $70,000 per month. Per year. That's how much money people are losing. So when you hear people say, "Well, my friend is making money. I made $100,000. I made $150,000. You broke. I made $130,000. You broke." Because if you're fabricating and living these lifestyles that you want to act like you got it going on, and half of your paycheck goes towards rent, or 80% of your paycheck go to rent, you perpetrating. They got perpetrators living in California. Don't let these Negroes who act like they got it going on over you, and you living in the South and the Midwest, and they be snooting their nose up. They perpetrators because they one paycheck from joining this lady in this tent.
Yeah, rent went up. I'm on like a fixed income. You know, I'm 67 years old. So, you know, there's a lot of the older people down here that was on fixed income at one time.
Yeah.
So,
well, I appreciate you giving me your time and your energy. My name is Shirley.
Shirley, my name is Patricia.
Patricia, nice to meet you. Shirley. So I appreciate Patricia because Patricia was telling her real truth. She didn't have to tell me her real truth, and I appreciate that. I don't want to seem like I was mocking that lady. I wasn't. Did I have a difference with her? Yes. Do I understand why she thinks she does? Yes. And the reason why I understand why she thinks she does, why I think I understand her thinking, is because of the era and the generation that she comes from. This is a woman who comes from an era of people who were told how to think and how to act as Black people. And they entrusted the Maxine Waters, the Karen Bass, the Diane Watsons, the Tom Bradleys of California, Tom Bradley, who gave half of LA to the Chinese community. They entrusted these Black people. You know, these are older Black people who, some are alive, some are dead. Herb Weston, who's still getting promoted, like Herb's going to help the community. Herb's community is the most nastiest, filthiest district. If you ever go to Herb Weston's community, it's the most nastiest. But I want you to understand that the only trauma and change that can occur within our communities is when we wake up and that we understand that we need to find other ADOS foundational people to run for office. Because if you guys don't run for office, how can you make changes? How can you bring a conscious thinking to your community if you don't disrupt the foundation? Don't worry about the president. Don't worry about all that stuff. I need you to wake up, and I need you to vote for people who have your best interest in mind. And if they can't answer those questions, then you need to cut them out and cut them off. Because Maxine Waters wants you to call her auntie. She wants to be your aunt. She wants to be your queen. But she ain't paying your bills. She ain't paying your bills. The Billy D's of the world, the pretty Negroes with the good hair Negroes. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the good haired Negroes. But you have to have conversation of interaction. And by having those conversations of interaction, it starts from you. And the first thing I want you to realize, I'm going to go back for those who might just be chiming in. Thank you so much for chiming in. Share this video. Get the likes button up. Make sure you subscribe. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you for getting the thumbs up and liking. And remember, hashtag BF1. Please put that in the chat room right now. BF1, BF1. Thank you, Doug, for moderating as long as you can. I know you have to go, but there's other people who are still watching, so let me keep going. California school choice, there's a town hall meeting. Please write this down before you leave. So, Sunday, February the 16th, we are going to be talking about school choice. Like I told you, they're getting $17,000 per kid in California. And a lot of that's going to the Hispanic community. That's not going to Black kids. This is going to be a Crenshaw Christian Center. Crenshaw Christian Center is going to have this event. And many of you guys are saying, Shirley, I want to get involved. Shirley, I want to know more. Because when I show you right here, and I know I put that logo, I want to pull it up again. Right here at the top, if you see $17,000 per year are going towards kids. And these other benefits, this ESA student, the educational savings, which basically goes towards these Hispanic children. And when my kids were kids, and it's gotten worse now, just to let you know how California works, half the class is in English and the other half is in Spanish. These people are getting special peripheral rights, and they're getting taken away from you. And we need to talk about school choice because there are private schools within the Black churches that need to rise up, and we need to build our communities. Another thing I want you to be conscious of, the Pan-African Film Festival is taking place right now. It's February 11th to the 23rd. You can go buy your tickets, or you can just go hang out. You can buy tickets individually. You don't have to pay for those big ticket prices that you see right here. I'm telling you how to do it the way and save you some money. Just show up and go over to the shopping areas in the malls, walk around, and go see a couple of the films. They're the same price. They're like $5 or $10. They're probably $10 to $20, but it's worth it to support the Black community. When we talk about Black films, they're probably going to recognize John Singleton. You guys know John Singleton's from Southern California, and he did pass away. But also I want you to realize they got Herb Western. Now, I told you this is another crooked Negro who's a politician here in California. Some of you guys need to get a little bit busy and disrupt these comfort people who will be walking around and ask them, what are you doing for the African-American descendants of slaves? What are you people doing? Here's another event you can go to. Write this down. Look, I'm telling you events you can go to. There's a reason for the method of the madness of me doing these commercials. I don't get no paid, no money. But when I hear people say, well, we all ain't doing nothing. Y'all ain't talking. Y'all just all on the channels. Yeah. I just proved to you I'm on the streets. And I'm telling you of events that you can become engaged to. You can create video content. I want you guys out there filming and getting involved. Here's another event, the town hall meeting to address the economic racial issues in the Black community of Los Angeles. Fight to save Black town in Los Angeles. It's going to take place February the 15th. I told you the other one was at Crenshaw Christian Center. Look up and go online. Look up that address. It's off of Vermont. That's on Sunday. This is Saturday. This Saturday. Okay? It's going to be from 11 to 4 at Leimert Park Village Studios located at 3411 West 43rd Place in Los Angeles. I need you there. This is a nonpartisan event. This is not, doesn't matter. ADOS, shout out. Stay tuned. Wake up. It is designed to bring engagement and cultural awareness of the problems, the size and the scope of the problems facing the Black Los Angeles. It's also about saving and fighting to save the Black Los Angeles that we still have left. because these filtrators, like that Indian man came in, claimed to be black. They're writing on the back of the civil rights. They're writing on the back of your piece of legislation, rights that were supposed to be for you that were taken away from you. But if you're not involved, your children's future will be disrupted. If you're not engaged, your children's future will consist of all these other cultures of people. And what good is Black History Month that we're in right now if the Black History Month is the African American month, or they would love to change it to the Civil Rights Month? Then that means this inclusiveness and this cloud and clutter of other cultures of people will have the voice at the table, but your people will not have that voice. And what good is that? What good is that when you don't wake up to the fact that this lady here who was targeted, this beautiful queen right here, I want you to say, stay woke, they cut off her channel today. And someone went in there and said, what is the Eye of Sauron? That's the Eye of Sauron. This has to do with the Lord of the Rings. You need to watch the Lord of the Rings because it really ties into the Black people. Man failed getting rid of the evil ring. The ring that was possessed and put together, the man failed. They were supposed to destroy that ring. But it took the Hobbit to bring peace within the community, and they all had to work together. Guess what? The Black people, to me, in that story, are us. If America wants to heal itself from the Eye of Sauron, then the Eye of Sauron needs to be shut down by the Black people who are descendants of slaves. But the Black people who are descendants of slaves don't think they got a problem. They are too busy caught up into the whole thing of attacking God rest in peace, Kobe and Gail King and all this other stuff. We hate Trump. We don't like Trump people. Don't be distracted by this eye. This is the eye that's searing in your life right now. That's got your mind twisted. You look what this Eye of Sauron, and you can see, I'm going to put all the links below, how a lot of mythical creatures and ideologies and stories that were created tied to today's time. When I tell you that you need to do your homework and study chess and learn how to play backgammon and learn how to play these strategic games and certain things that you do on poker, these strategic games in life correlate to the games on the table. So then you can change the narratives out. You know what I mean? You can literally change these narratives out so that you basically have a clarification of what is working for you and working against you. But if you don't realize that the Eye of Sauron is on you, and that eye is here to distract you and pull you away from focusing on your own people, then you can't get involved. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Dimitri Flagg in the house. Dimitri, how you doing?
I'm not doing very well. Well, doing well. It's good to see everyone. Good to hear that everyone's listening and staying tuned. But the thing is that when you're talking about when we talk about the body politic of the Boule and that councilman Herb, I don't know his name. I didn't catch him.
Herb Weston.
Herb Weston. But you got to, and Roland Martin, also Angela Rye. I call her Angela Lai. But you got to understand the only way you get into these positions is if you're willing to sell out your people. And one thing that I don't know if you listen to Tree of Logic, but Tree of Logic, and also Kiki Green told me the story. It's kind of similar stories that when you're starting to get put on and you're doing well on your own, there's always a conversation that someone out the blue calls you, who obviously has money, has power, has some sort of influence, and they start asking you all these different questions. And Tree of Logic talked about this in great detail for 2 shows, and that's the editing process. If you get access to the world of wealth and media and so on and so forth. And so using that logic, and also Kiki Green told the same story. So using that logic, anyone who's in celebrity, you can't trust them. They might say something that's tilted towards empowerment, but in the end, will they show up at 7:30 at night after a long day for a town hall that talks about school choice or empowerment of getting the homeless people where they need to go, or get them empower homeless people, what have you? No. And then also you go to the Black church, another Black institution. They're bought by faith-based initiatives. I mean, think about this. Out of all the crap we have gone through as Black people, where are the Black pastors against police brutality? Where are the Black pastors against this whole, let's open the borders, and while Black people get kicked out of public housing and go homeless on the street, then we have people who barely been in the country going into public housing. Where's the pastors? Why is it that the money that we put in tithing doesn't go to Black banks? Because they're bought, because literally, if they do any kind of empowerment, they get replaced. That's why we cannot. All these people that are in power, all these people that are in, like from Gayle King to Oprah to Obama, they're all there to keep us pacified. And so that's why, and that's the reason why the movement with you and Vicki Dillard and I don't know about ADOS because I'm starting to hear that they're agents now. I don't know what's going on there.
But ADOS is not agents. There are certain things I agree with them and certain things I don't. But I tell you, there are people who are in the community who are taking the reins of that, and they understand the changes. And that's one of the things I mentioned, that they are putting together an ADOS event. And I shared that with you earlier. I'm sure you were watching.
No, regarding that Cardinal and Antonio Moore, I'm hearing that them two individually are, but I heard the movement's kind of going on with that. That's what I'm hearing, but I don't know. I don't want to put that out there. I'm just hearing that from people who I know, because I was going to join the ADOS LA until my homegirl said, Demetrius, let me tell you what's popping up over there. And I was like, what? And so that's why I didn't go. So that's why it's dangerous. And Vicki Dillard did this live talking about James Carville, and he says, you need James Carville, white supremacist who worked for the Clintons, and he got on CNN.
Wife, weird.
Right. And so he gets on CNN real greasy, talking about, if you want to get the black vote, it's simple. Go to the black church, talk to them, go to the Southern blacks. All this ADOS stuff, all this for reparation stuff, go to the Southern black churches. They'll put everybody else in line. And honestly, what he was saying, the foundation of what he was saying is somewhat true. I mean, we have to figure out who can we trust this movement. And think about it, because think about civil rights. Remember all this stuff that was happening to black people. How in the hell did Anglo-Saxon women get involved in that? That came from these Southern people. And I'm just like, wait a minute, is that how these Democrats really think of us? And the answer is yes. They honestly believe that we're just here putting on a little show and with a little taking off people's channels, little black pastors speak, and getting the Southern blacks will get in line and vote for the same garbage of open borders, the same garbage of helping the LGBTQP, because the P stands for pedophilia, because that's the new thing that's coming down the pipe. They want to make a man on boy love a new thing. That's why you start to see that being rolled out with Zion Wade and all that kind of craziness. Meanwhile, we rank 30th in reading and math, and you rolling out transgender studies. I'm done with this system. My solution, because I don't want to sit here and put all this out with solution, the thing, we have to start with our kids, because they're going after our kids. So we have to start with our kids. And that's the reason why I was talking to Kiki about this. That's why I was inspired to go back to school and say, I got to figure out economics, figure out finance. I'm trying to go get my master's degree now. And I'm trying to put some financing together to start, maybe not now, but not like 5-6 years, because we need to have an education system. We have to build our own education system in private schools. Literally. And it's not gonna be a big class. I'm gonna probably start with like 5 students. I ain't gonna try to be like, and I ain't gonna be shady like Dr. Umar Johnson, like all the stuff that's alleged with him. You gotta start with like 5 kids, 6 kids, 7 kids. Start off there. Have martial arts, because what people don't understand is martial arts instills discipline in children. I mean, I go to Taekwondo now. The kids that are in Taekwondo, they're little kids, but guess what? When the sensei says what's up and tells everyone to get into formation, them kids get in line. They're doing well in school. They're focused. They're studying. Also, the girls don't deal with bullying in school, and neither do the boys. Period. And so we need our black kids doing that. So therefore, they understand discipline. They understand how to defend themselves. When they know how to defend themselves, they won't be running around here all emotionally distressed and angry, because anger is because you have no control of the environment around you. You just get mad, start crying, or whatever. Woo. In addition, we also need to be teaching accurate history, because here's the thing: if you don't see yourself, people that look like you doing great things in history, no matter if you go and be a PhD in physicist, I don't give a damn. You could go invent the new rocket or whatever. You're not going to feel confident in what you did, and therefore you don't feel that you can control it. Therefore, you'll be like, okay, I made this invention, but I don't feel I'm smart or whatever, because I don't see people doing this kind of stuff in history. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to this white supremacist who's gonna do my money for me. I'm gonna go ahead and have this white supremacist handle my management for me. And the next thing you know, you 70 years old and you broke as hell. They got all your money. And so that's where we have to. And the thing is that black people, we have a phenomenal history of the concept of pre-colonization, before we're colonized. So it has to start with our kids, and then at the same point in time, we have to also build an economic base with a militaristic attitude. Because the thing is, we had economics after slavery. What we did not have is a military base willing to die to protect our neighborhoods. Because we were always cut off guard because we was in this mindset of Jesus. Oh, all we got to do is just show them that we're just like you. Oh, we're just like you. We do business just like you. That's the problem. They don't want us just like them. That's the problem, and that's why all that. I think in the broadcast in the what's that called? You did he was playing somebody else's video where it talked about how all this land was taken. We didn't have no military. Now the Klan was doing their job. They were militaristically protecting white laziness, because that's all slavery was, to make sure that white folks could live like kings and queens. They wanted to replicate the throne of England, and so they made us work for them. They didn't did nothing. They didn't do nothing. Their whole entire job was to make sure we kept working to make them rich. Period. So we have to have a militaristic attitude to protect our neighborhood. And it cannot be the police, because the police are with them. They're descendants of the slave catchers. So we have to have our own, whether we have our own private security or whatever, and we have to protect our neighborhoods, because there is no economics without a militaristic presence. Period. That's why we have the world's best navy. That's how the sun never set on the English of the British Empire, because they had a military. Period. And that's just my opinion. How we just got to start there. I don't know what you think. What say you?
You on fire, bro. I can't even jump in. I love every time you talk. You just always put the real truths out there. But from what we got tonight, what did you gather from tonight? What did you learn from what I shared? What did you like or dislike that I shared tonight?
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me check Sister B. Sister B, I was telling my experience from what my homegirl who was with the ADOS move in LA was telling me. So don't tell me I'm putting energy out there. I'm saying what was going on with me. So let's just go ahead and keep it a buck. And it come to find out now, ADOS and ADOS LA has already changed chapters 3 times. So let's not come at me like I'm doing something weird or whatever. Period, point blank, the end. And there's 6 YouTube videos of folks who was riding with them from the very beginning who's saying the same thing. So it's not me just saying it. So yeah, so check your people. That ain't coming up over here. Check them. Let me go ahead. I'm sorry. What'd you say? What was the question again? I had to just
tonight's show, and we were talking about, again, the eye of Sauron. And I think people don't understand that. And I talk about fiction, I talk about games. I think if people just learn some of the infiltrated ways that the government is always looking on us. And Vicki was cut off in the middle of screen. She started talking about Michelle Obama, and within in less than 3 minutes, baby, whoop, she said Michelle Obama and Jeremiah Wright, and how she came out with the book, and then honey, they cut her off. So
well, let's break it down. Let's talk about the system of you can call it. I know T West is probably listening. He's probably gonna cut me up for this, but I know he hates this word, white supremacy. But let's just white supremacy or Angloism or whatever you want to call it. This system is astronomically brilliant and strong and amazing. But then at the same point in time, the smallest thing can break it. Smallest thing can break it. Black families can break unity in the black family breaks white supremacy. Just like that. But it's brilliant and it's strong and it's constantly changing. And in order to conquer a people, you need to watch everything that they do, know who they are. That's the reason why there were missionaries on the continent of Africa for like 600 years. When the Moors were in Europe, they were already planning on taking Africa. This was wasn't taken off. There were so many different languages, and they were very difficult. You even know? Did anyone speak Japanese?
Hold on. You must have moved out of your position. Can you repeat what you said? We missed what you said. Your phone went off. Say it with that. What you're saying is so important. Everything you're saying is so important. Slow down just a little bit, breathe, and then say that again.
Which part about about white supremacy?
Yes. Start from there when you said T West and go from there.
T West will probably say stop saying that, Demetri, but I'm just saying the system you want to call it white supremacy or Angloism or white power, anti-black race, whatever system you want to call it. You gotta the thing is, black people, we have to look at the system and we have to honor it and respect it for its power. I mean, are you guys still there?
Yeah, we're here. Keep going. You're equating what you said.
Okay, hold on.
Can you hear me?
Let me go to let me move. Yeah, I'm just
get in a good position because I really want people to hear what you have to say. While you get in a position, I want to say something. So just get in a good position real quick. Let me say something real quick. If we the people don't understand that the divisiveness that this country, like I've said in previous videos, I'm gonna say it in this one. This country was built by colonists. It was made for white Americans.
But it always wins the war. And we don't respect it for what it is. But it's also white supremacy's biggest strength is its biggest weakness, because the black family and black unity breaks it. And how the black family can be unified is through economics. Think about it, Shirley. Think about this. After slavery, Tariq Nasheed coined the phrase "ball or fall." After slavery, we didn't have any money. We got kicked off the damn plantations. Now, some folks got had like there was like maybe like 1%. They had some good white folks that stole. They bought their freedom and they got like an acre of land and they was able to flip it, whatever. Then they got stolen from all the other white folks. But think about it. We were building cities literally immediately following being released from slavery, because they was kicking us out. Get away from me. Go over here. Go over here. So it was giving us the worst part of the land. And guess what? We were balling out of control. And literally 60 years removed from slavery, you had Blythe County, Georgia, which was an epicenter of, that was like the first grand city. But then most important about Black Wall Street, and this is what no one talks about. Black Wall Street was a city that was superior, the Greenwood area, was superior to Park Fifth Avenue, New York. 60 years from slavery, we had a city that was a section of the city that was superior than Park Fifth Avenue, New York, where all the millionaires at the time lived, including the Rockefellers. They wasn't gonna have that, and then we replicated that in Durham, North Carolina. So they had to tear it down. Now, when you have a people that after being beaten, forced bred, forced incest with your mom and your aunts and all that kind of nastiness, because these people are crazy, and you get beaten and you get given birth while you're getting beaten, and then our women were sold, your babies were sold, you deal with the emotional stress, then you had to still make tea, get beaten by the lazy mammy or whatever, I mean not mammy, mistress of the house. And then you see your mom get beat and get raped by the master, and then get beat by the mistress because she's mad that her master ain't speak with her, and then we still here fighting. Oh no, we gotta go. They're gonna start taking us to the next level. That brings me to Vicki Dillard. We're at war. So once we, as Black people, we have to honor this system, and it's powerful, and we have to understand that if you're trying to be exterminated, then we can finally respond in the way of, in my opinion, community, defense of said community, economics for our community, education, and procreation. Period. That's what we have to do. And so the thing is that they cannot have Vicki Dillard speak the truth, because they're manipulating us. They're using us. They want us to vote for all these different groups to come in and get money while we stay at the bottom. How in the hell can we sit here, be descendants of slaves, and we got all these set-asides for these Latinos who, by the way, let's keep it a buck, it was the Yoruba tribe slaves who liberated Mexico from the French and the Spanish, and it was Dessalines and them who liberated Ecuador and all those Latin American countries. So Black folks liberated these damn mulatto Mexicans and these damn South Americans, and now they come over here and take from us. These lazy goddamn Hispanic Latinos. I'm done. I'm done with them. I'm done. So we done liberated the whole goddamn world, and these same mulattoes then turned around. This is how the start of covert operations happened. They copied it from Japan, but they didn't have a way to start it. Think about it. We beat the brakes off these white supremacists. On Haiti, it was think about Trinidad Tobago is where the Black female warriors who were slaughtering the French in Ghana, they were caught up and sent to Trinidad Tobago. So there was Black women liberating Trinidad Tobago, and then you had the island of Hispaniola, you had Brazil, you had Mexico City. We beat the brakes off these damn white supremacists with all their technology, but what happened was we could not make the peace because they were working with the mulattoes. And then you had because the coons and the gay coons that were sleeping with masters, they were killed, and the heterosexual coons, they were killed. But what happened was we didn't kill the bedwitches and the mulattoes. And so we gave them a pass. And guess what? They coordinated with the French, coordinated with the Spanish. They kind of came in, brought in Jesus, and the next thing you know, we're back to being subjugated again. So that's why we have to have this desire for more. We have to have this burning desire to where, you know what, I'm going to drive an extra mile to go to Shirley's store and spend an extra 5 cents to make sure her and her family's good to go. I'm going to go ahead and order off this janky old internet website, because I know homegirl from the church just started, and she works at Walmart part-time, and this is the best that she can do right now. I'm going to go ahead and do this. We have to start from scratch again. And then at the same point in time, when we start from scratch, we have to then defend ourselves any which way we can. We did a warrior class. And that warrior class has to be on call, like what's happening in Texas right now. You have this group of black men who's like, we're going to patrol our own streets. We got to get like that. But then we also need people in the police force. We need to have some codified black folks in the police, because these police are the new Klan. That's what no one's talking about. Did I answer your question?
As you talk, tell me, what's your take on what's going on with Black America? Because they got us in cages. They got us homeless. They got us in cages. And these are sections, because you're from California, you know, these are sections that are a couple of minutes away from the Staples Center. And this is how our people are now. What do we do about this?
Okay, okay, don't be mad at me, but with that brother who was going crazy earlier, he was 100% correct. We need to go ahead and take this L and take this L and understand the game. Because the thing is, these white supremacists not change the game.
Stop. You said take this L, so we just need to cut these folks off. We don't have to let them go.
We got to cut this L and figure out, they got to take this L, because the thing is, we lost this war in 1965 when we let that Immigration Act pass. We also got another L when you already broke down the L. You broke down the loss. Tom Bradley gave half of LA to the Asians. That's loss number 2. That's like the gravy. The dessert was when they passed those. Remember those rental laws when we had rent control everywhere, and they said, "Oh, we got to change the rent control because of wealthy renters." And they tried to play this, and they rolled out one realtor who was like making $200,000 in a $400 a month apartment, and then they passed this thing saying that you could raise your rent 10% every single solitary year. Do you know that my rent went from $2,000 to $4,000 in like 5-6 years? It was crazy. And so they set this up. And now, mind you, your rent is not, your wages are not increasing 10% every single solitary year. So it was a setup. And then on top of that, remember, Shirley, remember Arnold Schwarzenegger started taking money from the Native Indian tribes, and that was supposed to help our budget. Remember that?
I remember that.
And then we started passing, I think, every 2 years, we started passing homelessness bill after homelessness bill after homelessness bill. I'm literally thinking that from the mid 90s all the way up until what was that proposition? The last one. There should be at least $5 to $10 trillion a year. I'm sorry, not five. I'm not trillion. $1 billion a year just for homelessness. Not to mention what we already put together. So this problem has already been addressed. This problem was already authored by these same politicians. We fixed the problem with the money, but the money's not going down there. The money is going to research and set aside for friends and family and contracts and stuff like that. And the thing is, that's why another reason why I voted for Trump. Because I thought he's gonna be that dude to come in and just drop kick fools, but he's turned out to be a disappointment to me. And so the thing is, we solved all these problems in California, but the whole goal is in order to control the people, you have to make them needy and destitute, and that's exactly what's happening. It's no surprise that we have black people being homeless, because Julian Castro under the Obama administration kicked out all the black folks for these immigrants. And guess what? The people that we voted for, that we trusted to defend us, because we work every day. I can't be caught up in politics all dang day. You vote for the people who's supposed to be taking care of you. You know what I'm saying? And they sit back and let it happen. So I can't. So the thing is, until we start coming together and start kicking these people out, and we start making people like Roland Martin and Angela Rye completely, being a leopard, then it's going to continue to go, because people do what you tolerate, and right now, based on James Carville, we keep tolerating it, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens this election year. In 2016 we didn't vote; we just stayed at home. Now, if that number keeps continuing, that's going to be a good thing. But then we also have to watch these politicians who want to give voting rights to immigrants, because then now just completely take away what we're trying to do. So I don't know if I answered the question or not, but that's my opinion.
No, you definitely answered the question, because like you said, you really made it clear. We're talking about local legislators and everyday working people. People like you and me, we can't be doing activism all the time, because we see the situation and we would love to intervene, but this is the real bill. I got to pay my bills. Yeah, I got to take care of my family. I don't want to be like these people we're seeing right now before us. These people were one paycheck away, and now look at them. You could be one of them people. And that's why I'm saying you can't look down on them, But you have to understand, you don't want to get that L put on you. And
right.
To the point that if you almost at this point where you homeless like this brother sleeping right here on the street, you need to get your ass out and you need to move. You need to move because, like you said, brother, some of us are have to work. We cannot deal with this kind of issue and address it. But it's now become a forefront where we can't even have a normal life because you've got immigrants and illegal immigrants who are getting certain rights and benefits through legislation. And another thing that we haven't mentioned is that the legislators are being replaced by Hispanics. Our leaders who are white and black are being replaced by the Hispanic community. So the more of them that get elected, and we don't put foundational black people in, we don't put ADOS people in, the more of them that get elected, the more we are disjointed and displaced and put in cages. So when you hear them say, oh, my baby, are they putting Mexican babies in cages? I said, well, what about the black people in cages? Oh, black people aren't in cages. I said, let me show you. This is what I'm talking about.
So you hear me?
Go ahead.
You hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm here. I'm back. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying, if we're going to talk about the Hispanic people talking about their babies in cages being held hostage or lying, coming here illegally, and then they want special treatment. You came here illegally. You brought your family here illegally. You're killing American people on the street, and you still get off illegally. But yet you don't talk about these black people I'm showing you right now in cages.
Well, we have to also, we have to also put this in context, too. Keep in mind, and let's take this whole, because people keep talking about we don't deserve reparations, and you hear these white supremacists like Ben Shapiro, and then he's like, well, I'm not a white supremacist, I'm Jewish. I'm like, no. Wrong answer. You're a white supremacist, regardless if you're Jewish or not, because the Jews that matter are Anglo, and you are Anglo. So let's keep it real. Ben Shapiro's a racist, and so is Stephen Crowder. And they keep telling us that, if you do the crime, you do the time. Law and order. Well, you did the crime, you got to do the time. And so, like, for example, in case in point, remember those New Yorker? It was like Cambodia, Africa, Congo heat in New York one day in the summer, this past summer, and they were throwing water on people and doing hoses on people, and they sprayed the police officers. Remember that?
Yes.
And everyone's all like, it's law and order. It was disrespectful and law and order. We had to punish them and punish. Okay, keep that same energy. But then when Amber Geiger breaks into someone's home and kills a black man who's eating ice cream, oh, you got to forgive. I'm done with the BS. I cannot stand the system. I'm done. Miss me all damn day. Do you know those brothers got 6 months in jail? They got 6 months. And community service or something like that, and a fine. I'm like, are you serious? But you got this damn white supremacist thought cop who has sex on the job, who gets 10 years for busting someone's home. Oh, I thought it was the wrong address. You are a damn lie. And the thing is, folks believe, it's like, oh my goodness, let me tell you something. If I was a white woman, I would be a billionaire right now. My drive, my dedication, how smart I am, and I can have sympathy when I made mistakes, please, I'll be a billionaire right now. I'll fund the whole movement. Shorty, how much you need? What you need? Here's a check. Just write it down. Seriously, I mean, think about it. And so here's the thing. So black people, no matter what we do, even if it's a mistake, you bump into somebody, like for example, that little boy who bumped into that white woman in the grocery store in New York. All of a sudden, he's getting ready to get lynched by the police because he touched her butt or whatever. Now, you transition that to people. Now we get to law and order. Now you have a group of people who have their own country, their own institutions, everything that we built for them as the Yoruba tribe slaves, and I think the Igbo was down there too, because I think the Aztecs died off because they couldn't handle the syphilis, and so they all died because they were sleeping with Massa down there. The Spanish killed the rest of them, so it was the black Yorubas who got a papa down there, became their own country again. They didn't fight. They was eating carnitas while we was fighting. Okay, whatever. Woo. So we'll keep it moving. And so they couldn't keep it popping down there because the dark-skinned mulattoes are dealing with the same stuff over here. So they said, okay, boom. We know racism is alive and well in America. We have lighter skin than those negras, negarons, cabro negras, and michaga negras. And then they come over here and they get all the benefits. And so when they break the law and they get sympathy while we get law and order. So they get amnesty and deportation. We get 3 strikes. And that's what happens when you're trying to genocide a people. And so what happens is you have an increase, like T. West talked about, an increase in mass incarceration of black men, while there's an increase in immigration.
Preach.
And that's what's going on. But the thing is, we keep having black leaders talk about we have to go help immigrants. Like Roland Martin wrote this whole article about how we need to go ahead and protect immigrants and protect gays. Let me break it down to you. Throughout history, no one has stopped anybody from having sex with anybody. Let's just keep it a buck. If you're in the chat, if two people wanted to have sex, has there ever been a time where you heterosexual, gay, straight, bi, whatever, has anyone stopped you from having sex with anybody? Let's just be real. The Catholic Church and grown men are having sex with little children who are being supervised by their parents. Let's speak with this crap. That's how crazy this thing is. And not only that, according to the Census Bureau, majority of the gays in this country are Anglo-Saxon and who make more money than God. But if a lesbian white woman and a homosexual gay got married, they both make $1.60 or whatever. I don't know what the percentages are. $1.67 per person. They'll be the richest person in the world. But yeah, we out here having leaders fight for white gays who have more money than God, can pass their wealth down, and so what they can do, so they can have like open orgies in the middle of the damn street. That's what our leaders are fighting for.
Let me tell you something. They're on Santa Monica Boulevard right now on the weekends with their children and humping and stumping publicly, and nobody calls that perversion. No one talks about pedophilia. No one's talking about how the African American man in Hollywood, who Hollywood's controlled by the Jews. No tea, no shade. We just quoting facts, folks.
Keep it up.
Don't start throwing rocks at me. Before you throw a rock, look at the rock you're holding. Because I'm telling you, the Jews control Hollywood, and every little black boy on Hollywood on TV right now, like on the Disney Channel, he's gay. Why? He's gay. He's dark and gay.
I thought I was the only one seeing it. And also, what's up with all these damn swirlers? I'm like, okay, mind you, growing up, I saw maybe one or two interracial dates. But literally every single black woman is with a broke down white dude right now. And I didn't even notice it. And I'm just like, okay, I'm all about diversity, but goddamn, you mean to tell me there's no black relationships ever in the world anymore? And there was this new Geico commercial that came out. That's when I started, damn. And I started going through the channel, I'm like going through the thing, and I just typed in interracial marketing. And apparently people have been watching it for a long time. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But think about it this way. This was scientific. They did this in science. The French mastered this art. They did this whole entire study, and I think Cynthia G also talked about this, about swirling, is that, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to make black men economically non-grata to the black woman. One. And then the black woman's going to date a white guy, or a black girl, a black man's going to date a white girl. They'll have a mulatto child. But then they're going to see the benefits of whiteness in the system, and then they're going to go ahead and marry into a white person, and they'll have a white child. And when you look at Meghan Markle and you look at Serena Williams, you see all these like light-skinned children, like for example, Doc Rivers' kid. And that's how another piece of war. And at first, I didn't understand interracial dating like that. I was just like, it is what it is. You love, you love. But then I realized, wait a minute, this is strategic. I was like, God damn, we can't even marry who we want to anymore. That has to be strategic too. And that's why I say this system is brilliant. But the number one thing that can kill it is black unity. And that is the reason why all these people started going after black men on YouTube who are trying to defend Kobe Bryant's legacy. It's not even about Kobe Bryant. It's about our legacy, because if we can't pass wealth down and pass a legacy down to our kids and die in peace, then guess what? If we can't even die in peace, those who are alive is going to get even worse. Period. So it wasn't. And so the thing is, Bryant, even though Kobe Bryant didn't do much for the black community, the bottom line, he is a foundation of Black American, and he is a proxy for us. And that's when people were just like, nah, dude. Because the thing, and also, I was around during the trial, and I know the woman was lying from the very beginning, because I remember the court cases of what broke the news, breaking news. I think it was breaking news on MSNBC. Best friends of alleged Kobe Bryant victim alleged that she planned the whole thing and that she loved it. And I was like, what? And it was in New York Times, and it was in LA Post. And that's why the situation with Gayle King was so vile, because she was in TV at the time and she knew about that. So when she set her behind up there in front of Lisa Leslie and said, well, the witness didn't want to testify, so that's why he was acquitted. So yes, he was acquitted. She knew why she didn't want to testify, and she was disingenuous, and I don't even think disingenuous. She was a liar. And everyone drug her behind, and I'm glad, because I'm sick and tired of these boule black females and these AKA and deltas dragging black men. I'm done. I haven't noticed it. I mean, I was kind of saying, okay, we messed up or whatever, woo. But now I'm noticing it. I am noticing that now our number one enemy is not only the white supremacist feminists, and who's the number one enemy to black people, the white supremacist feminists, the feminist movement is the #1 enemy to black people, period.
And Demetrius, let me say, we've got a person in the room who I think would love to get his opinion on the table, Mr. Research, who I truly adore and I love. No, don't be sorry, Dimitri. Don't be sorry. I am so honored to have your presence on this channel. Your knowledge, your wisdom, your heart, your passion has always been sincere and authentic. And I need you on every time I'm on. I need you to be my because you keep it raw and real. And Mr. Research is like my big brother. He stands behind me as well. But this is really about black men and black women. But understand this, no tea, no shade for anyone who swirls. Because all the sisters who have swirled, I have to admit, I threw myself in that racket as well. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is this. When you're in a state like California, which I live and I grew up in, there are no black men here. So what is the black sister supposed to do? And then when I see black lesbian black women, I say maybe they want to be with another black person. So that's why they're with lesbians. But there's no black men in California. I'm sorry. If you're a tall, chocolate, dark, beautiful black man, the police are targeting you. Yes. I showed those videos where those black brothers who are being targeted by the police. But Mr. Research, you've come into the room and I know you want to say something, Mr. Research. What is your take on this subject matter? What we're talking about, the eye of Sauron, the federal government, and those who are in power are always watching us and wanting to put a foot on our neck and our head and stop us from talking to each other. And Vicki Dillard got cut off today. And I just really would love to hear what Mr. Research has to say on that one.
You know what? I told my girl I got to jump in because so far, I give everybody their YouTube name, MOT, Shay, O'Shea, and all that. So I'm dubbing this guy the flagship. I'm dubbing this dude like the flagship. When y'all hear this guy come on, just say, "Oh, that's the flagship." But anyway, let me and look. Every time I talk to you, I'm gonna say, "Hey, flagship, what's going on?" Anyway, so here's the thing. The brother inspired me to come on simply for this. I always say, we, especially the males, are not being strategic with our mouths.
Yes.
We do not realize ever since I got into politics, early 90s, I was told by the white man, it's all about numbers. It's all about numbers. He's an Irish dude, but he can get into the white complex without being noticed that he's Irish. Until he accidentally mispronounces the O or U. And he can finagle his way. And when he told me that, I was like, you know what? Wow, he is absolutely right. If he was green, they would stop him before he even get close. But your average male doesn't understand that. And he believes being an individual will help him. Being by himself will help him. Look at this point that flagship raised. Let's start with our gay community. I don't hate the brothers or the sisters. Do what you do. But flagship made a good point. Let me dig into that deeper, and then I'm gonna switch up. When Joe Biden harassed Obama to do this thing for gay people, my first thing, knowing politics how I know it, that don't really matter what he does because it's all about the Supreme Court. So you can do whatever you want to right now, state to state to state. It doesn't really matter. If Mitch McConnell gets control of the Supreme Court, all that stuff is going to be rescinded. But notice how many, several, but not all, non-black gay people ostracized gay folks the minute that power went down from Obama. The minute Obama blessed folks with that, it was like you had gay dudes complaining, oh, they don't want to mess with us no more. Exactly. Welcome to your wake-up call. Because it was never about the unity.
Yep.
It was about you're cool for right now until we get what we need. Let's go with what a flagship said about.
No, hold on. Don't pass over what you're about to say. Let me emphasize the fact you're cool for now, for we can get what we need through using your civil rights by legislation that was put in place for your people. We're going to take that. We're going to hop into your communities. They were all up in the black streets of Los Angeles. Before you go, I want to say this. I want the family to listen. Make sure you guys get the thumbs up. We got 71 people watching right now. We got people on Facebook right now watching. I need you to share this content. It's very important. It's very important that we get it out there. Look, listen to what Mr. Research is telling you, that they have taken our foundation. These are two black men in Los Angeles right now. If any channel you should be watching is following all of us, because we on the front line. That's why we're so passionate. That's why you
wait. How dare you, Shirley? They want to talk about Dayton and the struggles of Dayton. They don't want to talk about power. They don't want to talk about power. They want to wait till the three of us get power and then say we black too.
But here's Mr. Reacher, let me ask you this question though. Let me ask you this question because I'm looking at this in the context of sports. You know, when the Kansas City Chiefs, I was a Kansas City Chiefs fan back with Christian Okoye days. I got all kind of receipts. I got his jersey. I got loyal receipts. Huh?
You are loyal.
And when Marcus Allen went there from the Raiders, when Joe Montana went there, I was mad when the Buffalo Bills injured Joe Montana with a late hit. I was there for it all. I was there for the fire. But here's the thing: there was a dead zone because they weren't really winning, and so the seats were empty. You know, no one was really there. So my question to you is, I don't even, and this is not, it's just a straight up question. No shade, just straight up question. Is it going to take? Oh, sorry. Let me just do another little setup for this, and then also you kind of coincide that with COINTELPRO when they said they don't want a black messiah. So my question to you is, with all that in the context of the question, is, do we have to start having little victories before everyone starts jumping on, or we just dead in the water? Because now that Kansas City's win again, all of a sudden it's packed again. All the fans, all the Kansas City Chiefs from like 1901 when they're only like 5 years old or whatever, everyone's all jumping on the bandwagon now. So is it going to take a small group, a critical mass, to start having little victories, and then everyone's going to start following? Or is it just we're just lazy, or they just want to just sit back and watch, or they want an armchair coach or whatever?
Okay, I'm going to use the same KC analogy. So what the owner needs to do, because he has a database, reach out to those fans who've been on that database before the wins start piling up, and make sure they have a special deal based on their ID.
Okay.
We need to do the same style of thing.
Oh, okay.
What I created, I wrote down and created a culture for the advanced black man. I call it African wolf culture. And rule number one, and I've been saying it on my channel for a while, rule number one, control your need to reply, black man.
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you.
Control your need to let it be said, because that's not calculated. That's not mathematical when you do that. When I sit up here and tell you, let's challenge, let's defeat, and you said, what? That you using shaming language. You're not a warrior. You're not ready to get in here and compete. You have did what you did in sales. I peeped you on LinkedIn. I work in medical finance. Me and you have to compete on a high level.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know what it's like to do just enough.
Right. And then they increase the goals, and you got to go up. Right.
So to answer your question, not to belabor, but to answer your question, we have to take the ones who want to mentally carry their battle axe and create a subculture there, which will attract the sun babies. That's what they did in the 1920s. That's what they did with Tulsa, Oklahoma. Every time they tried to go and take the advanced blacks away, here comes the anti-blacks to tear it down. Now, let me go back to something you said, Flagship, because I don't want to hog the mic. But when you said in conjunction with our gay community, then what happened with the lesbian sisters, once this power came down from Obama, all of a sudden it wasn't safe to be a stud no more. It was like we don't even want to deal with those studs no more. So now here's a woman done changed her whole anatomy, got testosterone, and now we ain't even dealing with y'all because now we got the rights. We good. Lastly, going to your point about some people who date other cultures. They're running to other cultures, willing to lose themselves into these other cultures without realizing these cultures are doing this stuff to, one, get your biology, your DNA, so that their lineage can stay on point. Because when you look at Grace Jones with her high yellow son who married a white woman, you can't tell that blue-eyed, red-haired granddaughter of Grace Jones has any black in her. So that type of stuff. So I wrap it up by saying we who have these crystal balls have to start linking together like 7-day evangelists. We got to start having our own subgroup and get away from the Black Caucus do nothing type of people and start through our financial power, create a lane so where these little people who come up be like, I don't want to hang with the regular blacks. Where else can I go? Oh, let me go hang with Flagship and Shirley. I see they talking power. That's what we need.
I can't even say it any better than both of you guys. They've been really great tonight. And we've come to the final hour at 3 hours and 9 minutes. But I want to make sure that you guys who came in late, make sure you watch this video from its entirety, because I talked about the Eye of Sauron. Mr. Research, can you just give your input on that? Because I use that term and people are like, what is the Eye of Sauron? And let me give y'all some homework. Please go watch The Lord of the Rings. It is longer than Jesus coming back. But one thing you'll learn about The Lord of the Rings, if you break it down, man failed. And I look at it as the way man failed. White men failed America. And they're failing America because they don't want to admit the evil that they created. They created that ring. And they wanted sovereignty of the purest, highest power. And that power turned evil upon them. And so it took another type of being, not a man type of human being, to correct the wrongs that man had done. So I'm saying this for Black community people. They're watching us. They're talking to us. They act like they befriend us, but they're silencing our voice. Mr. Research, how can we as Black Americans can stay conscious of that eye that's watching us?
I pressed I did a mobile order.
Oh, mobile? Yeah.
It was Demetrius Flag.
Got you.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Research. What's your take on that one?
The Eye of Sauron is Mordor. Mordor is the Eye of Sauron. And what you got to understand, Sauron itself is irrelevant. It's a small, very scared, very afraid thing. But the people who live on Mordor are so subservient to this irrelevant thing that they give it power. It's the same plantation mentality we have as ADOS people. We keep having people defend plantation thinking. We keep having people finding joy in attacking one gender versus another as if we're Ku Klux Klan members. This is what you and Flagship been talking about. You gotta understand, we are dealing with people who we may have to kill on the battlefield before we even start the war with the anti-blacks.
Whoa! You need to clarify.
Whoa! Wait! Hold on! Wait! Hold on! Am I on still? No.
Yeah, you are.
Yes,
hello.
Sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Wait, you got to go back on that one. Hold on. We got to go back because I think you're going where I think you want to go, and I wanted to go there, but I'm gonna let you go there first, and then I'm gonna go ahead behind you. Hello,
Mr. Research.
You cannot go to war. I keep it quick in 30 seconds. You cannot, so a Flagship can have it. You cannot go to war with people who are willing to talk for the anti-blacks just because they got black skin. We got too many black-face biscuits amongst us.
Yep. Ding, 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 ding.
And you need to break that down, bro. What do you mean by that? Too many black-face biscuits. What does that mean?
You got people with black faces who are the main ones talking anti-black. You got people with black faces from Canada, France. Look at Drake. He from Canada. He from Canada. They come and say little anti-black stuff, and you got to be like, bruh, hold on. Do you realize what you said? You remember when Drake had a blackface on?
Oh,
and
God.
he said he did it because he was frustrated with how he was being treated. Wait a minute, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
You did that as symbolism for what? How is that power, dude? How are you helping our cause by showing that you're a smiling jig?
Yep.
Okay, but this is what we get. Or as far as Republicans, you get rebel media. They went and got some homeless dude. I did a whole thing on it back in my alpha male wisdom days. Some homeless dude from Canada that he found, brought him over as a paid actor, cleaned him up, and he started saying this anti-black stuff as if he was an American living black person. Dude, you're from Canada. You just made 30, homeless at 30, and got brought up by rebel media. You're a plant. You're a black biscuit. We got too many people like that. And look, I don't hate them. I just really realize we need the great separation, you guys. Those of us who are advancing got to sidestep away from those people who are standing still. It's not even about hating the white folks. Those are our white cousins. They don't want to admit it. Half of them from the plantation is got a black great grandfather. They don't want to admit it. But here's the deal. It's time for the financial people who are doing financially okay to group together and squash and take over. If there's a building full of lower level Leroys and they in the hood, hey, let's financially go buy that building. Hey, you guys, you got 3 months rent free, but after 3 months, all of y'all will be out.
Let me say something real quick. Somebody made a comment about ABL. Look, I'm not going to let y'all bash ABL. ABL's young. ABL is a special breed of Negro. And because we have to give a pass to the special breed of Negroes now, y'all say, why give him a pass? Because I still think he's learning and growing. And I know y'all go, oh gosh, because he's trying. But I know
but Shirley, I'm sorry, Shirley, but see, here's the thing, and I'm not going to bash him because this is your thing, and you. But Mr. Anti-Black Logan, because his father because his father was on Fox, he's trying to please. He's trying to show Dad he can do it. And the other thing is, there is a disease with YouTube and the internet. Instagram models have it. It's called the pat on the back. If you've never had a pat on the back, you ain't never killed dragons for a living, you ain't never wrestled no grizzly bears, then once you come to the internet and you surprisingly get 5,000 to 10,000 followers, all of a sudden you feel as if you have a 12-inch penis. Now, this is just how it is. Women go through it, men go through it, and sometimes some people are willing to talk anti-black just to keep the checks coming.
Yeah. And talk about the drug is because I remember one time I did a comment on Jimmy Dore's channel, and I got like 5,000 likes on it. I was like, oh, snap, I'm the man. I was like, wait a minute, hold up. I am like 40 years old. Why do I care about what these people, whatever? So I had to check myself with that because I had a good family who raised me well. But like, seriously, for a moment there, I was like, wait a minute, I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying? I was like, maybe I should do more. I was like, wait, no, I ain't doing no. I had to check myself. You know what I mean? And you're exactly right. It is a drug. And when you have a group of people that are oppressed, and when you're working in a job, especially in pharmaceutical sales, you could bust your tail and win, and you will always get passed over by the most non-existent person in the whole entire sales force.
There you go.
And then you get this pat on the back on YouTube. You're like, wait a minute, it kind of validates you. But you got to check yourself and say, no, you just had a good comment. You know, you got to put it in perspective.
Look, Flagship. I had a channel in 2008 called Alpha Male Wisdom. 42,000 subscribers, brother.
Wow.
I never even turned my AdSense on. You know why? Because I'm making money doing medical finance, and I got to remember these laws and policies. I wasn't even thinking about turning it on. So people
that was a time when you can make a lot of money too. You can make at that time in 2008. That's when you made 42,000. That's at least $300,000 back in that time.
But I wasn't even paying attention because I was helping my people. But after YouTube terminated that channel, I went through what you went through. Like, what, man, what the hell? And I had to check myself. Whoa, brother. Hold on, bro. Your body feeling a certain type of way. You rushing back to YouTube. You know what, bro?
Yes.
Take like a 4-month break. 4 months? Yeah. Take 4 months and just step off, bro.
Well, you know, that's the same thing with my situation. I'm building back Urban Game Changers. Our website's down until I can put it back up. And I have it down for a reason, because I want people to pay attention. The real people that follow me will look me up. The real people that believe in the message that I have to put across are going to watch us on YouTube, are going to follow us on Facebook, and are going to have intellectual conversations like yourself, like we're doing right now. But let me ask you, gentlemen, this question. If we're living in times where we know that the eye of Sauron and the people are watching us, and everything that you say, every time you empower yourself, you're infusing yourself, your energy is getting put out there. What's the next? What do you guys predict in the future? Where are we going with this? Where is this going to?
I think that it's going. I think there's a lot of great. I think that we're building a mansion. I think that we're still building a mansion. It keeps getting torn down, but I think the foundation is really getting laid down, because what's happening is, and that's what's so important about the Kobe situation, is that finally, and I'm seeing foundational Black women getting in there, throwing them things with these damn Gayle Kings and Angela Rye people. Because before, I honestly just felt that, I'm like, damn, I mean, we gotta fight white women, Black women who hate us, and white men too. Damn, there's like no one rocking for us. And all of a sudden, all these Black women start coming. I was like, oh, they're out there. I'm like, yeah, go ahead, Aisha, Shamaka, they're out there. And so what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing a good foundation being built. And I also, at the same point in time, see not hatred towards the sugar biscuits, as you would call, but a discrediting the sugar biscuits. Because before, they'll just be calling out their name, all this name calling, whatever, woo. But now, there's this discrediting of the sugar biscuits. Like, for example, like Tariq Nasheed, he will break down why what Roland Martin said is bad for Black people. And Yvette Carnell, why this is bad for Black people, what the Congressional Black Caucus did, why this is bad, why we shouldn't vote for the Democrats because of this. So you're seeing a discrediting and also an interpretation on how we're getting fooled. And that's what was happening in 2016, and why now no one knows where the 81s come from. No. Kamala Harris was destroyed, and I know exactly the 5 videos that destroyed Kamala Harris' career before she even announced for presidency. And so it was all right after the election. It was like all from November to December. It was like Professor Black Truth, it was Yvette Carnell, Tariq Nasheed, Cynthia G, China Fox. I don't know if you did one, but I know Kiki also did a video. Her entire presidential campaign was destroyed in those 2 months, the November and December 2016. So to bring it all together, I see this foundation of discrediting the lies of the Democratic Party, the lies of these liberals, because that's where white supremacy is with these damn liberals. And I think the foundation is being laid. And also, but what I don't see is the building, because you can't destroy and discredit and then build, because they have a system that is brilliant. And let me tell you something, the empire will strike back. They want their Negroes controlled. They want their Negroes in these hoods, these red line areas, and they want us to sit back and watch these immigrants get all this money, all this cash, and we are supposed to sit here and applaud for them and stay in the street. That's the goal, because they want us to see our destruction. That's how diabolical this situation is. They want us to see our destruction. But so I see all this happening all at the same point in time, and then at the same point in time, I know what I'm doing. I see also a lot of Black people, because I listen to Erica Williams, a lot of Black folks are going back to get more skills, get more other things as well, get more skills, try to do a code, try to get better jobs, so on and so forth. And I see this kind of like business network kind of working at the same point in time as the liberation. The last piece that's needed is the militaristic part. When, for example, like literally, if this country's gonna completely implode. I don't want to plead ill on anybody, but if something happens to, I won't say a name, but if like someone who killed an unarmed Black kid or a Black person, if that person is then like brutally destroyed in the streets, oh my goodness, it's about to pop off. So you have the building, the discrediting of the coons or whatever. You have a building of discrediting of these schools. You also have a business class that's kind of building from the ground up again. And then the last piece, the militaristic piece, where you start just seeing random acts of vengeance. it's gonna be popping off because that's all the stuff that happened in Haiti. That's all the stuff that happened when we were fighting back in Congo and Trinidad and Tobago and Brazil. Those are the three paradigms that happen when you have liberation. So I think that we just need to. Anyways, I'm just gonna stop talking. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think what you're saying is really valid. I was trying to show that one part of my video. I did a video called Omarosa Buffoonery of a Congressional Black Caucus back in June 2000. June 28th, 2017. And I talked about Camilla wannabe black hairs eating greens and how she's not black and she's not advocate for the black community.
Oh my God, yes.
And I said that 3 years ago. And so I've been on this front line telling people a long time ago, these people feel like this is one of us. They go to school with us, they get educated, and they put up some black signals, and then that would go to DC. AKA, and then when I went to DC and his brother was going off on me, we got Camilla Harris. I said, she's not black, she's Indian. You don't know what you're talking about. Then black men wanted to argue with me and tell me that she was, you know, I said, you don't do your homework. You think she's so cute, got some nice legs. That's all the brothers would tell me. Oh, but she's good looking. Oh, but
oh my gosh.
That was the movement back then. I said, wait a minute. Can we talk about policy and how preservation of the culture of people? No. We got to talk about how sexy Camilla Harris' legs are. And then
but it gets worse though. It gets worse. Not only is she not African American or even ADOS, but her great I think 4 times great grandfather was a part of the campaign to destroy Sam Sharp, who was a Jamaican revolutionary in Jamaica, who was a part of the Christian riots. So not only she's a descendant of a slave master, and a slave master who openly attacked Black Jamaicans. That's how horrible she is.
It's getting deeper, Mr. Research. We got? I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes as a final word. Thank you all so much for chiming in. Please go back and watch the beginning of this video. Take your time. I know my videos are long. They're intense. And they're like a fine wine. They're like a good glass of cognac. You got to sip it, baby. You got to sip it. And that means you may not be able to empower 3 hours at one time. And that's okay. But what you can do is at least keep watching them, keep sharing, keep subscribing, keep putting the thumbs up. And in the room right now, chat room, before we go, can you guys put hashtag BF1? Black family first. It ain't about the black man. It ain't about the black woman. It's about the black family. It's to understand there's no say that we're not here to beat each other up. We're trying to tell you the situation. A lot of these old black people, they don't know no better because these politicians lied to them. They don't know no better. And it goes back to what Dimitri said, Flagship said earlier. I'm so busy working. I'm just going to entrust that you take care of my people. But guess what? They're not taking care of us.
Nope.
And that's what we've always thought. These old black people gonna say, "Oh, you got to elect. You got to be elected. You got to support these certain candidates." No. Because we've done that. We've slept at the wheel on our own people, and now look at our demise. Now look at the generation. Now you want to know why you homeless. You supported Planned Parenthood. You didn't have children. You aborted your baby. Now you don't have no lineage. You have no generational wealth. Your ass is homeless. Your mother's house couldn't go to nobody else. You couldn't pay the taxes. Black people used to have babies because the babies that they had added to their lineage wealth and their foundation to stand as a family. They protected each other. You cut down the hedges that didn't have no roots to grow back. That is your fault.
Yep.
That is your fault. And you supported a party, the Democrat demising, devilish Dixiecrat party that continues to filtrate the black community. And like you said, the empire's striking. He's cutting us off. Look what they did to Vicki. They cut her voice down. They shut her off. And they're going to continue to shut you off. But we want to keep you awake. Don't sleep at the well. Mr. Research, for chiming in. Thank you for your donation. Go ahead, Dimitri. I'm gonna leave you with the mic, and then we're gonna close out. Go ahead, Dimitri.
No, it was Mr. Research.
Oh, Mr. Research. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. Research, for coming in. You always add a lot of validation to the table. Mr. Research is beautiful. He has character, and I love him on my show. Please support his channel. Go to Mr. Research. Learn what he's talking about. He's very informative, and he brings a lot to the table. And thank you for your donation, Mr. Research. Hey, you guys, let's let Demetrius say his last final words. Demetrius, what do you want to leave? Leave the people with something, because what they heard tonight was from California. We are African-American people in California, and we are suffering right now.
Absolutely.
We're suffering, we're hurting, we're displaced, we're sick. Every time we go out to eat, these Mexicans control our food and our restaurants and our markets. And then y'all think we always mad. Why y'all so mad in LA? Why are you so mad? Something wrong. You should just leave, get it together. It is not that easy. It's just not that easy.
Right.
We can't just up and root like if we could, we would. But for those who can't up and root, you pray for the people who can't. And you pray that what we can do is help to stop this bleeding, this massive blood of this artery cut, which means the Black Americans, so that we can make it easier and not so bad of a blow on the other parts of the country. Go ahead, Dimitri.
Well, I just want to leave words of that. I think that we are on the right track as Black people. I think that we're just, like I said earlier, we're discrediting these people. They're running for the hills. They're, all these, like Melissa Harris Perry and all these other coons are just getting completely discredited. I think also as us, we also have to accept the fact that we lost. We got our butts kicked. And then once we recognize that, we go ahead and fix ourselves, get ourselves in the right mindset, get some skills, and then we need to start coming together and rebuilding everything. That's why I think that we are doing that right now with these shows that are keeping us on code and reminding us that we are in a horrible system. And I just think that we're on the right track. Do we need a little bit of luck? Yeah, we probably do. But I just don't think that forgiveness moving forward is going to be the solution, because we've been forgiving. We've been holy dancing and on Sunday. All that stuff is not doing anything. It is going to have we have to make some hard choices and say, hey, we're not going to tolerate this anymore. No, we're not going to sit here and have open borders. No, we're not going to sit here and get passed over by somebody because they're this or that or some other identity. We need to just keep listening to these shows, and just start rebuilding ourselves and then start coming together as a people. And I think that we're on the right track. That's what I want to leave everybody with. So
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Dimitri, stay on, family. Thank you so much. Good night. Make sure that you like, subscribe, share this video. Let's have more conversations. Remember, people are watching you. The government is watching you. The question, are you watching what's being done to you, and how are you going to deal with that? God bless you.
Thank you so much.
And good night. Hold on,
Good
Dimitri.
night. Oh, wait. I'm here.